Welcome to this week's episode of Kingdom Calls, where we look at all things GA, both locally and nationally as well, if it pertains to what's happening right now. And we're here, change of venue. We've moved from Parkhurst 1 week only, and we've moved to Killarney to Jack C's Bar and in High Street. So thanks to JC for being our host this evening, as well as being our producer. With me I have a panel of experts, and experts is in inverted commas. First of all, I have freelance journalist and clubber commentator John O'Dowd. You're welcome, John.
Thank you, Bert.
Next we have a man who's making a return after a 2-year absence. It was a suspension served, and now he's back with us again. He comes from the Spa Club just outside Killarney, small little club, and that's Jimmy Darcy O'Sullivan.
I will not be silenced.
And next we have a man who came from on high. He came from above the rim, actually, and that is a clubber commentator as well, and Killarney Legion man, and that is Enda Walsh. Enda, you're very welcome.
Thanks, Mark. Delighted to be here.
And also we have at great expense from the very north of the county, 3 All-Ireland medals, the only one with All-Ireland medals among us, and that is John Kennedy. John, of course, from 84 to 86, and there's nothing about football that he doesn't know, or at least he tells us that anyway. How are you, John?
How are you, Mort?
You got through the traffic okay?
Traffic was very heavy, Mort, in fairness.
Yeah, Killarney's terrible, isn't it?
Terrible, yeah.
It's awful.
Very busy.
Yeah, it's busy. Now, let's start with a few issues to chat about first. And on Tuesday night, for my troubles, I was at the county board meeting, lads, and that's an hour and a half of my life I won't get back. But news on the managements, we have no news on the senior management until the October meeting. Nothing confirmed yet, according to the chairman, Patrick O'Sullivan. In the under 20, we've got Dara O'Shea, who's going to be joining his brother as a selector, and then in the minor, Mark O'Shea will be joined with one of our great legends, sporting legends, and icons. That's the great Maurice Fitzgerald. John, what do you think of the changes, particularly at underage level?
Yeah, I suppose it's like Dara O'Shea played a part this year. It might have been an unofficial role in general, but he was part of Tomas's management team with Mike Frank Russell and Maurice Horn and Mark Fitzgerald, and of course they went on to win the All-Ireland and breaking that under 20, under 21 drought that had been there for 18 years or whatever it was, back to 2008. So I suppose it's not a huge surprise that Dara has been officially added to the ticket next season. By all accounts, he was very popular with the players, especially in one-on-one discussions. Like he does have vast experience of the game. Like he did serve his time as an under-21 manager, and okay, maybe the results didn't go his way back at that stage.
There were knockout games, weren't there?
Yeah, different competition, different times, different players. But I suppose it just shows you as well that Tomas felt more confident in his role. You know, he's after winning that All-Ireland, so he's able to make little tweaks here and there where he feels is needed. So yeah, we should have a very strong team at our disposal again for next year. If you go back to 2024, I think it would have been in the minor equivalent, where we lost to Derry by a point in an All-Ireland semi-final above a Mullingar, and we were missing Killian Dennehy that day. He's going to be a big player for the Kerry under-20s again next year. Okay, we've lost Ben Murphy, and then the 2025 team under Wayne Quillen as well. They got to the All-Ireland final and only lost by a point to Tyrone. So Kerry should be very strong, and it'd be interesting to see Dara officially on board.
Yeah, Jimmy, under 18, under 17, actually it's under 18 in the county, but in clubs in the county, etc. But nationally, it's and I'm hearing as well that it was said on Tuesday night by Maurice O'Mahony that while there is no chance that the All-Ireland minor football and hurling will be held in Croke Park on All-Ireland final day, there is a very strong indicator now that it is going back to Croke Park, but on All Ireland semi-final day. Do you think that would be a good move? A young lad playing in Croke Park is what everybody wants, surely.
I genuinely don't want to be controversial or anything. The way that the GAA snuck in that change from under 18 to under 17 at a Zoom meeting with a very, very poorly worded motion at Congress, having withdrawn it from the table the 2 years before, because everyone, including Kerry, I attended GAA meetings, public meetings, with clubs, Christian and Og, everything. Everybody hated the idea of under 17. Now, there was, hold on, I am actually cross about this one, I'm sorry. This is a very big one for me.
We love you when you're cross.
Okay, no, there was a big issue with senior competitions being held up for inter-county minors. And you know why? County boards, including Kerry County Board, did not have the courage to stand by their own rules and say 7 days before the game, you're tied up with the county. If it's outside the 7 days before the inter-county game, you play with your club. And if you're injured for your club, then you're injured for your county. And you'd have seen those lads playing for their clubs, which is what the game is all about. But because they hadn't the nerve for that, oh no, instead we're going to bring down under 18 down to under 17, which left half the country. I'm now 18 years old. 'Tis grand for all of ye. Ye can actually play the games. Ye were handy footballers. I'm not going to lie to the public out there. I was worse than I look, and I know what I look like. Okay?
Have you looked at the mirror recently?
The chances of me making any senior team at 18, we're not even talking steroids, we're talking $6 million man or something. Okay? It wasn't going to happen. And meanwhile, I'm heading off to college, or I'm starting an apprenticeship, or I'm starting work, or God love us, there might be a woman out there. Okay? Not everybody has great eyesight, like. Okay? My point being, that age group, the biggest age group for dropout in every sport, not just GAA, everything, you can check this. 18 to 24 is when the vast majority stop playing, because there are games at juvenile for age groups. But you hit senior, you're good enough over a range of ages, or you're not making the team. The likes of me, good luck to the GAA. I'm taking up golf, I'm taking up cycling, I'm taking up something I'll actually get a chance to participate in. That's what happened with the change to under 17, a change all the grassroots opposed.
Yeah.
It was pushed from the top down, which is an issue that might be coming up later on. Sorry, I'm realising now I'm ranting a little bit. But as I said,
you're ranting a lot.
It is a decision. I thought it was appalling by the GAA. I disagreed with it then. Yeah. The sooner it goes back to under 18, the better.
Well, it's all about
they've done immense damage,
and about preserving and the coaches and the S&C guys that took all that over, and that's why all that happened. We realise that now, and burnout, etc.
There was a lot of here's how we do it. Burnout is grand. Yeah. Explain to me, so you've your split season, okay?
Yeah.
There's no county football, nothing, for 8 months of the year.
Yeah.
Except there is, because 90% of club football play. Without the inter-county players, we'll be talking about that as well. Like,
yeah.
You do realise that all of this only started happening in the 70s with the appointment of managers. Do you know?
Do you think managers are ruling the roost? And I don't want to rant.
I have no problem with managers ruling the roost. When we're talking about Darragh O'Shea and Maurice Fitzgerald being brought in, here's what I think. Nowadays, with the public scrutiny, losing All-Ireland final by a couple of points, you're the worst in the world.
Yeah.
It's always the manager who's on the chopping block. I think any manager out there, you're in charge of the team, you bring in who you want.
Yeah.
You know,
You've no problem with that?
Absolutely not. I don't even need to know who they're bringing in.
Right.
They trust them, they can work with them, they can get it done. if you know, I'm just about remembering, I mean, I would have been a child hearing stories, when selectors were elected.
At the county board, yeah.
Yes, and it sounded like a great democratic system and everything.
Until the manager didn't talk to the selector.
I remember at one stage, yeah, where there
John
were,
Kennedy would have suffered on
there
the
were
back.
two selectors on the sideline. John knows who I'm talking about, I'd say. But they wouldn't even talk to each other.
I know, yeah.
Manager is on the chopping block.
So he picks his own.
The manager
crew,
gets to pick his own people.
Now take a Librium and a glass of water, and I'll
I
move
will.
on to
I will.
in the we've covered the minors, we've covered the under-20s really. Senior, are you surprised that we haven't heard, for example, Patrick, there's a certain amount of what happened at the county board meeting I can't report on. We were specifically asked not to report on it, and I understand why, so I have no problem with it right now. But there was a question asked about Cian O'Neill. Was he still involved with Kerry? And Patrick said he couldn't answer that question, that it would be October when Jack would have his entire management team ready. Now, the entire management team doesn't have to go to the county board, by the way. It's only his selectors and the manager himself. SNC, you know, the guys who do the logistics, statsmen, etc., they don't have to be ratified by the county board. As Jimmy was saying, the manager picks whatever team he has, and now they're gone from 14 to 20 to 24, and some teams have 40 in the backroom staff, which I think is too much. But do you think, but he couldn't answer that question, but we now know that Cian is gone, and we now know that Cian is going to be the head hurling coach in Cork. Do you feel, you know, he'll be a loss, and I think he should be thanked as well for his work. I mean, he's been around twice with us, and we won All Ireland on both occasions that he was with us.
Yeah, obviously Cian's a very talented guy. There's never a fella that could walk out of a football team and coach into a hurling team, so he does deserve credit for the work he's done with Kerry 100%. But having said that, I suppose as the manager, it's kind of Jack's job to look at the big picture and kind of see what he needs from time to time. And I know he's refreshed his management team before, and maybe it just came to the stage where he thought, I need to refresh all this again. And maybe Cian felt he might have needed a new challenge as well too. So it's just a case of maybe for both sides it might be the right thing to do. And I know Jack is keen on maybe, you know, getting another All Ireland before he does depart. So maybe if Cian wanted to go, maybe now is the time to go. And I know the reports are that Kieran Donaghy is going to step up, which would be a massive...
Question is, will he be a selector or will he be a coach? He will be a coach, obviously, but a coach selector. And the difference there is, of course, if he's just a coach, he can be the most qualified Muirishka in the country. If he's a selector, he can't. He's got to sit in the stand.
Well, I suppose I was talking to a guy from Armagh during the summer, and they rated
You
him
speak
so.
to people from
I
Armagh?
do all the time, and they rated him so highly up there. So I think it'd be foolish of Kerry. And I think when you look at the other appointments there, we've a rich history of All Ireland medal winners with great knowledge. You have to tap into that. So I think Kieran should probably be thought of for the highest position you can give him, which if it's coach, I think they should go for Kieran.
Head coach.
Yeah, I think so. I think
head
he's
coach.
so well rated around the country. I think we'd be foolish not to tap into that ourselves.
John Kennedy, you're a man who played under many a coach. Well, actually only one. I'd say he was a coach and he was everything. Did he drive the bus, Mikko? But you were with Mikko. But you obviously have managed the Clare senior team since, and you've been involved with Kerry minors. So you're not yesterday's man. You're current. So tell me, what
Thanks,
do you think of the
Mark,
whole thing? I know that's a compliment. Yeah.
Compliment
Yeah,
interspersed with an insult.
Yeah, I'd agree with Inda. I think we have huge talent in this county. You can see with Dara and Morris being introduced into the minors and under 20s, and we should tap into that. Do we need to go outside at all? Is another question. Do you know, we've a lot of expertise within the county, but look, Cian did well and he's moved on, and best of luck to him. And I think, like he said, Jack, whether you win or lose, you'll always look and see where you can improve, where the weaknesses are, and that's part of the game. Yeah. It's not pointing the finger at anybody, but it's obviously we lost in All Ireland. There's been a lot of discussion about fitness, about injuries, and various things, and of course the long season. But the season is there for everyone, and there's a certain amount of luck in it with injuries. We know that. We can see since the club championship started the amount of serious injuries that have been picked up.
Yeah.
So that's natural. It's
But you
part
can
of the
be
game.
injured with your club or
You
with
can,
your county.
absolutely.
Injured
But
with
I think it's great to see former players that have played at the highest level. No disrespect to guys that haven't, but the minute they go into a dressing room, there's an aura about them. They'll get respect immediately. And you know, from what we heard about the under-20s, Dara's influence around the middle of the field in particular. And we saw the display by Evan Boyle in the final. You know, Daniel Kirby likewise. The 1-on-1, that's a man that has played at the highest level and has been one of the great midfielders. Maurice Fitzgerald, we needn't say any more about Maurice. And when he goes in with that minor age group, and just coming back to the age group, I agree with Jimmy. I think that it should never have changed from 18. And I think, why should you have an All-Ireland final on the day of the semi-final, not the day of the final? What's the difference?
Yeah.
I mean, I've read and listened to people at the top in Croke Park saying that it's to shield them from the pressure. We have a 16-year-old playing in the World Cup, but he couldn't play football here in Kerry if he was here. That's farcical, really.
But
isn't it?
somebody talks sometimes.
You
You
know.
manage them yourself, John.
Yeah.
They're thrilled to have
They're
a crowd.
thrilled. It's the highlight of players. Not every player will go on and play 20s and senior for Kerry.
That's the biggest point.
Yes, but if they play in Croke Park, and I've met some of the lads that have played there, we had good days and disappointing days. One of the highlights is playing before 60 or 70,000 in Croke Park. It's something you'll never forget, and your family won't forget it.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a must. It should be there. The final should be on before the final as a curtain raiser, and give them the opportunity of gracing our stadium.
Looks like
No,
it won't
no,
happen
no, no offence to Manchester United playing Leeds, or Katie Taylor having her boxing fight, or American football, or Leinster rugby. They're all very welcome in Croke Park, but the best underage footballers and hurlers in recent years at under 20 and under 17 minor level, they weren't welcome in Croke Park. There's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
And just credit to my own club.
Yes.
We brought in that we under 18 at county level in the club. So there's minor county championship tonight, and that's all under 18.
18, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just credit to Clarny Legion there.
Killarney Legion.
Yeah.
Is that above or below the rim?
And just
By the way, just
Look,
to
when it
explain to
comes to-
people, India has a very successful basketball. He's more than a GMN. He's a very successful basketball podcast, if you want to look in on it. And it's called Above the Rim. So I want
Beyond
to watch
this,
him.
Mort.
Beyond is
Beyond
it?
this, yeah,
Beyond the
yeah,
rim,
yeah.
and he could fall into the rim as well. He tried to do that to me in Kilcummin on Sunday.
Yeah, no, just a quick one before we move on from the new appointments. Obviously, we've thanked Cian O'Neill, but let's not forget Niall O'Mahony from Jimmy's club in Spa as well, who's leaving the minor setup, and he's been a very good coach for them and very popular with the players. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, all those lads should be thanked. I mean, it's the work they put in and the time they put in is unreal. Listen, lads, there's a fundraiser which was organised last February, came up on Tuesday night as well. Kerry and Mayo in Saracens. That was long before we reached and played them in the All Ireland, and they beat us. It's in Saracens. It's on November the 28th, and it's a fundraiser. But before he start booking flights and tickets, etc., it has yet to be approved by Croke Park, so we'll see how that gets on. That's again at the end of November. Is that club season or is it in the county season? Because the Kerry team will be on holidays, I think, for the first week in November. Jimmy, you're a man who is fearless. What do you think of that? Say something.
I'll agree with the 99.9999% of Kerry people,
Yes.
including, and I haven't spoken to him about it, from my understanding, the Kerry manager. Jesus, lads, the players need a rest. They need a rest. We've got to hold up the district championships, and gee, is there any way that we can maybe, I don't know, cut out half of the county championship? Oh, but by the way, in the middle of the resting, we'll take them off to London for a fundraiser. I'm not knocking money. You do need money, and the money is well spent. I'm not knocking the money.
Yeah.
This makes a mockery of everything else that every member of the county board has been telling us about how the schedules are crowded. They are too crowded. Guess who's crowding them? It's not anyone around this table. It's not anybody who's paying entry fee into the matches. We don't make the schedules. We don't set up things like a challenge game in November for players, many of whom all around the country have made it absolutely clear that they love the idea of no games in November
GPA,
because of something
non-contact.
called taking a break.
It's called
No.
non-contact.
I want to be
month.
clear. These are two strong points that I've been speaking about tonight. I'm normally a very kind and gentle person. Oh, yeah, you have touched on two topics that I feel strongly about. Will you leave me alone?
We'd never realised that, Jimmy.
Right, another controversial topic before we move on to games. There's a lot of noise going on at the moment. I start with John O'Dowd, level-headed individual that he is. Not saying anything about you, Jimmy, but the AFL,
This is not going well, like.
AFL, this is not moving. The AFL, there are reports that, and there's no doubt about it, Sydney Swans have been over to Nina, and Richmond have been in at loan. They weren't on GA pitches apparently, they were on school pitches. They did their trials, their one in at loan was a combine. And it appears they have it down to 5, if we can believe what's being told. And 2 of those players happen to be 2 very good under-20s from our All-Ireland winning side, which is driving at Tomás O'Shea off his rocker altogether. I saw him in the Independent podcast, Irish Independent podcast yesterday with Joe Malloy and Colm Keys, and he is going spare over it. He really is getting angry. And basically it's that Evan Boyle, I understand none of them have been off the contract yet, by the way, and Daniel Kirby could be moving to Australia. What's your views on it?
I suppose it's we're being punished in a way in Kerry for producing such excellent underage players who are very suited to the game of AFL, according to the scouts who are looking from Australia. The biggest issue, there's only 15 male footballers at the moment from Ireland in Australia, which is tiny really when you look at the women's game, which has been absolutely decimated. Every team pretty much in the AFLW now is full of players who could be playing
There's 46, is it? Or 48?
at least, close to 50 anyway players.
We have 13 plus 2 going out.
Yeah, there's like 15 male players at the moment. The problem, I'd say, from a Kerry perspective is that 25%, give or take, are Kerry. We have 4 players out there right now. And like, it is fair to say that Mark O'Connor has been a massive loss to Kerry football over the last 10 years and more since he finished up with back-to-back All-Ireland minor titles. We know full well that Killian Burke would probably be starting on the Kerry team by now. And Ben Murphy, with how quickly he has taken to life and the way he finished the county championship last year in the middle of the field, he would probably be starting in the Kerry senior team this year in 2026 if he had stayed around. It is an issue. Rob Monaghan has gone out there and picked up a serious shoulder injury, and we don't know what Rob's future is looking into 2027.
Matt Duffy's on the way back from...
Yeah, like the real thing here is that it's really, really difficult to make it in Australian rules football. Only the absolute cream of the crop from Ireland can make it. And it's not necessarily your ability as a Gaelic footballer that will make you a success story in Australian rules. It's 2 different sports. You have to look at it. Oisin Mullen is now becoming a superstar at Aussie rules football because he is considered the best man marker in that competition. The best player on the other team. He gets the job every single week, more or less, of tagging them, they call it, in AFL. And he's brilliant at it. That's a particular skill set that not everyone can do. Ben Murphy, who would have went out there as a back, has been moved up to centre half forward, which is a sign that he's really getting used to the game very quickly. He's finished up his season in the VFL with 12 goals in 8 matches. There's speculation already that he will be fast-tracked into AFL football next year by Brisbane.
That young fella, at juvenile, he is right up there with the best I ever saw. We all remember David Clifford as a young fella. You could see him coming from ages away. You and I spoke about him.
Seamus Minor when he was 16 and 17 in the same position.
Absolutely, he's another one. Ben Murphy really, really was up there with all of them.
Yeah.
You know, all the players are a loss,
They are a lot.
but Ben Murphy.
Yeah.
I
And,
personally think Mark O'Connor, just to say, there is this myth that we would have won 6 All-Irelands in a row. I will tell you know because you covered those minor games with me.
Yeah.
He was getting injections into both knees before
Yeah.
those minor games.
When he went out.
Are you going to tell me he was being pulled between schools, inter-county,
Yeah.
club, county championship, and he was a talent? You're telling me that the GAA, all the different strands, none of whom meant any harm, he would have been playing with those knees at the age of 25?
Geelong saved his sporting
don't
career.
believe-
They
I,
did,
that
yeah.
is my honest
Yeah.
belief.
Yeah, 115 games he had between challenges and training sessions, games, schools games,
Yeah.
games with Kerry, minors, etc. up along. I mean, it was incredible one year when the stat was produced. You know,
I
you talk
wasn't
about
actually aware of
wear and
that,
tear.
but-
Yeah, it was crazy. Listen,
But I think on the other side of it, Mort, before you move on,
I'm moving on to Inda.
yeah, no, just a quick one. Obviously, nobody can stop these lads from going. If they get an
Absolutely
opportunity
not.
to play a professional sport, they are dead right to consider it because it's their livelihood. If any of us had the opportunity when we were their age
I had.
to be paid for playing sport, whether that's in English soccer, whether it is in rugby now with
Kerry
Munster,
District
with whoever,
3 Dynamos.
you will take that opportunity. We can't begrudge them that. But what I will say is if it continues, and it continues to be the best of the Kerry talent in particular that is being picked, it undoubtedly will harm Kerry's chances of continuing
Agreed.
to win All Irelands.
I'll agree with that.
But, yeah, and that's fine. Listen, Inda, I'll make this point. I'll just be as controversial as Jimmy just for once, okay? I will say this. Young fellas today and young ladies, once they reach whatever, 18, 19, 20, 21, some go through college first, and then the desire to travel when they're young has changed so much and has become so popular now compared to when you were growing up, and indeed when I was growing up, it would be a boat. There was no planes, I don't think. So basically, what I'm saying is, has the GAA in general, I won't even say Kerry, has the GAA a claim on the players? Surely they have no claim whatsoever. If a young man at 19 or 20 who's very talented at Gaelic football or soccer for that matter or rugby wants to travel and wants to, while he's away, join a club, a professional setup, make some money and maybe come back later on or maybe stay there in that country, get married or whatever, what right are we to stop him? Why should we stop him?
I don't think we can. And I
Yeah.
think you're dead
Well,
right.
we can't stop him, but I mean, what is, and the other point is I want to make to you, what is this thing in Kerry, right, about, I hear it so often, every young fella that's born now, or whenever he can talk, wants to wear a Kerry jersey and play in Croke Park. That's absolute poppycock. There is no way. Fellas are talking now, when I talk to young fellas, they want to play with Man United, they want to play with Liverpool,
Yeah.
they want to play rugby. Some of them, of course, want to play Gaelic football, but it's not every young fella. And with the diversity that's happening now in the country, there'll be less and less wanting to wear the green and gold
I
jersey.
think you have a couple of things here. You're dead right in the social thing. Australia now is only a plane away. Before it was the other side of the world.
Plus, you can FaceTime and
Yeah.
what's everything. What's
But I do think as well, you look at the GAA, and I won't turn into Jimmy Darcy here, but it is nearly the last bastion of Ireland left standing. And I do think we are very protective of the GAA, ourselves as members and its players. And I also think you look at Kerry as being the leading county, I think we're equally protective and we want to protect that legacy of players. I think Tomas named out 5 players yesterday that would be on the Kerry senior team today. Now that's winning in All Ireland.
Yeah.
And you know, I suppose because we're all so committed to GAA, I'd ask this question, and I'm going to reference Kobe here.
Yeah.
Kobe is, and I think this is big now because it's Kobe MacDonald. Kobe has gone out to Australia, Mayo won their first All Ireland in 75 years. Will Kobe, and I'm talking now as a GAA man, will Kobe experience anything like that final whistle in Croke Park 3 weeks ago in Australia? I know he'll make a living. I know he'll be playing professional sport. Will he feel that connection, that euphoria that he felt at the final whistle
No.
in Croke Park.
No.
like.
No.
And that's the point I'm
No
making.
chance.
That's what the GA does to people.
But
And
Paul
I
Green
disagree
is
with
an
you. know.
exception.
Kids
He's
do
an
want
exception.
kids do want to play football for Kerry. They do. Now I know there's diversity, but like, you know, any GA person's son or daughter does want to play for Kerry, because Kerry is the ultimate, and GA is our national sport. And I do think the GA is very protective of that. I can see both sides of the argument.
Yeah,
I
there's
wouldn't
two
stop a
sides,
young
yeah.
fella going out,
Yeah.
but I'd love if Rob Mann was playing for Kerry. I'd love
Morris
if Ben
Fitzgerald
Murphy was
has a
playing.
nephew
I'd love it.
who was a fabulous Gaelic footballer, young fella, but
Mm-hmm.
he concentrated in soccer, and now he played with Kerry FC, and now he's up in Dundalk, Ronan Keane,
That's right.
whose father was an Irish basketball international.
Yeah, John.
Beyond the rim, is
Behind
it?
the rim, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, right, it's
So
right.
there's two sides to the argument. You can't stop the young fella going, but at the same time, like we have a legacy to protect as well as Kerry and as being the leading All Ireland winners, and the GA is a huge thing. So I can see both sides,
Yeah.
but you can't stop the young fella going.
Compensation for clubs, John?
I think so, Mort. I'd agree with Enda there. Very good points. And I think that you look at a soccer player, if you look at Try Parrott, his club Belvedere got 200,000 last week because of his transfer. I think something like you go through the clubs in the
Soccer is
county.
a professional sport.
I know it is, yeah, but you go through the clubs in the
The GA
county.
is not.
We prepare the
Well,
players.
it is.
We
but
prepare the
don't declare
players
it.
to the level required. And these guys go out there, they're built up, they have a super level of fitness. It's a professional game in everything but name here. There's no doubt about
So
that.
will we pay players?
No, I'm not saying that. But is there something
Why is it
like
everybody else gets paid except players?
it's very easy for people to come on and say we have to do something about it, but I'd like to turn it around. What can we do about it?
managers
I'm
get
afraid
paid.
that
These-
is the question.
Yeah, what
for
can
me
we do
all
about it?
along. I'll ask you a little question. First of all, there is this thing that
It's raining, Jimmy.
we owe Kerry GA because it's Kerry GA. Now, those lads are paying membership, which isn't nothing, the way the economic climate is.
Yeah.
That's a fair bit of money. If you're a student or something, do you know? No. They're out, winterized. Some of them creators are out there training now, and you know some of the trainers out there, they are going, we will not, it's only a little shower of rain. I don't know if you can hear it on the camera. Do you know what I mean? There's ducks knocking at the door to come in, like, okay? But they're out there all through winter, all long time, and this is club level, this is right down at every level. I'm not so sure that they owe Kerry GA quite as much as Kerry GA owes them. I'll also make the point, an awful lot of these lads play a couple of sports. A lot of them play basketball during the winter.
Yeah.
That compensation you're hoping for from AFL clubs, how much of that does the basketball club get? Because when it comes to catching a ball, guess what? And I'm no expert on these things. Do basketball players catch balls sometimes?
You have a player in Legion who was in
No, but
Australia.
Padraig Lucy.
Padraig Lucy,
Padraig
yeah, yeah.
Lucy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
plays- So if he went back to Australia, did he get money? You must have got money. You got money, did you?
Nothing. No.
No,
actually-
But that is the
He
point.
played
We
Yeah,
actually,
I
we actually
remember
lost them. We actually lost them the week of the county semi-final.
Was that back in 2016 or whatever?
2015, yeah.
Yeah.
And if he was around for the final, we could have, you know what I mean? So, like, we did suffer the loss of Padraig Lucy, you know?
Yeah.
So the one point John made there, Belvedere got 200,000. Belvedere is an amateur club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soccer is a professional game. So I do think
Yeah.
I'd have no problem
Right,
a
but
club getting 10 grand off an Aussie Rules team.
no,
compensation.
sorry.
For gear and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Sorry,
yeah.
you're signing the same sport at a different level.
But the Aussie
That's
Rules
why
is professional.
there is a prepared route from amateur to professional. It's the one game, it's streamlined. There are contracts we've seen in Ireland, and it actually wasn't the League of Ireland's fault, it was the FAI, but we know there have been problems with players. Clubs went right through the proper registry process,
Yeah.
and yet it turned out players were illegal.
Yeah, but
But
that,
can the people at the top in
So-
the GM,
so
Mort,
the
can
soccer
they come out with a
doesn't-
document to say players can't go or there's a restriction?
They can't.
can't.
No.
No.
That's
The
done.
but
attempt
that's
is,
a-
That's
look,
done.
they
they're trying
did they did attempt to say we want to bring in a rule that they can only take X amount of players from
From
any
certain
given
counties,
county.
yeah.
And then people kind of looked at that and said,
restraint-
who are you
restriction
trying to
travel.
fool,
Yeah.
lads?
Yeah, that wouldn't
Like
stand
we're
up
Why
in a
are
court
the
of law.
AFL going to-
Wouldn't stand up in a court of law.
There is
But
no
like we're here in
restriction.
Restrictions
Kerry-
of employment, restrictions of trade.
No,
Mort,
Jimmy
we're-
brings
we're
up
in
an
Kerry,
one
Mort.
fine, we're going to finish
Yeah.
on this. One final point. Jimmy brings up an interesting point. if you consider a lad like, we say Ben Murphy, who's gone out there now, or a Evan Boyle, who may be going out there, whatever, and you consider, you're saying, all right, the coaches and the clubs brought them along, but how many sacrifices had they to make?
That's
How
my
many,
point.
how many training sessions had they go to and make sure that they'd be there in time? Watch what they eat. Look at the current Kerry senior team. Live like
Well,
monks.
you could say their family made the biggest sacrifices of all.
Absolutely.
Their mother and father.
And
What,
mother and
what
father.
percentage of the transfer are they going to
Yeah,
get?
the transport. Yeah, but not even transfer. Why would we want to stop a lad who has devoted his life to sport, albeit at the start it was Gaelic football or soccer or basketball, and then he wants to move on and make a living out of it? Why should we stop him?
Listen,
Because we want to win in All Ireland. Because we want to make 40 Sams, 41 Sams, 42 Sams. And does it add one cupid to your life, John Kennedy, if Kerry win the All Ireland next year?
But more
one cupid. Does it add one cupid?
we're the top of the pile in Gaelic games,
It
in,
doesn't
in
matter, we're
football.
the
No,
bottom
no,
of the
but hold
pile.
on. Consider for a minute,
Yeah.
in the Senate, Mayo won their first in 75 years.
Yeah.
The jewel in the crown is gone
Yes.
to Australia. I had nobody in Mayo speaking about it. They probably didn't realise he's gone yet, I suppose. But,
Yeah,
but like,
he's back again
you
for
know,
the championship.
Kilkenny went from Dublin, several more. Lads went from Derry and that. You have to move on with it. The fact here is that we have so many. There's possibly
There's
6
only
being out there.
4.
But like
I will
these
say-
guys, you have to say one thing as well. From the county point of view, the players in Kerry, from my time right through to now, they're being looked after in a professional manner, on and off the field.
Yeah.
There's cars there now.
They're wanting
There's-
for nothing.
They're wanting for nothing. You have to say that.
And why
And
can't
it's a lifestyle change, and it's an opportunity that a young fella cannot turn down to get a professional game out in Australia and see how it goes. And nobody, all you can do is say, unfortunately he's gone, best of luck to him, and move on.
free
Yeah.
education paid for.
Free-
as well.
exactly, Jerry.
It's not
Jimmy.
happening.
Yeah. Why can't we set up, and Patrick O'Sullivan, the county chairman, was talking about this at the last convention, the convention before. Why can't we set up some system, and I think it probably was set up along the way somewhere for somebody or other, but why can't we have a situation where their education is paid for? They buy a house in Limerick or Cork or somewhere, and
But I-
the
I
parents go in
saw, I
there.
saw that from Niall O'Callaghan. Nice idea, but I want to be clear on something. And this is a larger point. I'm not actually cross this time. You can all calm down.
Right,
Okay. But
He's Niall O'Callaghan, he's in
step
America.
step one, is it a community-based organisation or is it a corporation? Second, you can dress it all up as benefit in kind. I'm fine with scholarships. Outside of that, you're talking about paying for this and giving them that and sorting them and etc. You're dancing around it and trying to avoid the words, and a lot of people are doing it. But let's be straight up, put it on the table. That's pay for play.
But they're doing it, it's being done.
It's
There are Kerry players driving around in cars.
sponsored cars from outside companies. They're getting their own sponsorship, which is fine.
Yeah.
You've been allowed to do that. It took the GPA for quite a long time. You weren't allowed to.
Yeah.
Do you know, and you remember
The,
the
the
attempt
thing
with
is,
the
Mark,
Hurleys and the betting brand.
the
and
thing is
everything.
what you're forgetting here
Okay,
is
but-
you can offer them the scholarship. You can offer them the job after the scholarship.
Yeah.
You can even sort out the house for them. If they want to travel to the other side of the world and play a sport professionally, it does not matter what you offer them, because it's the professional aspect of the sport. They want to get paid for playing a sport.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It doesn't matter what you offer them to stay if it's in their head either to travel or to play sport professionally, because that is the ultimate. Like, are you going to stop somebody if there's a Kerry footballer tomorrow morning that's considered good enough to play for Manchester United or Arsenal or Liverpool? Are you going to say to them, but we'll get you something here to stay if it's their dream, or they get a chance to play for Real Madrid? Something like this might never happen ever, but it is happening in the Australian rules. It's about playing something you love at a professional level and getting paid for it. You don't have to get a job alongside it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
One-
Jimmy, final word.
Just one last point coming to felony convictions.
A rant or a point?
It's the American studies on the issue of the genuine fact that very few make it. Very few. It's much higher jump, much harder, much further away than most people realise at all. But there are studies, mostly American, I'm sure there are in a lot of other countries, but in America, when it comes to felony crimes, increasing the potential penalty has very little effect
For a Kerry footballer.
on the number of that crime committed. And the reason why a harsher penalty doesn't stop people committing that crime is because no criminal thinks he's going to be caught, or she.
Point
You
being,
can say to players that, look, only one player in 1,000 actually
make
makes a
it.
good living out of this. Every single player who gets the invite,
we go.
you need a certain amount of confidence. I'm not talking arrogant,
Yeah.
I'm talking
You
confidence.
need to say, I can make it out there.
Every single one of them is going to secretly think to themselves,
Yeah.
I am the one in 1,000.
You have, by a devious manner, actually provided a solution. If we can, if we can,
I was wondering where he was going. Like,
if we
you
can
have a
act-
devious manner.
I think Mort Inda said something a while ago which is very valid.
which is very unusual.
Kobe McDonald will never witness or have the same feeling again
gonna get
in any
married.
sport. You look at it because you're representing your own people.
Yeah.
You're after going through turmoil and torture for years. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
But to see the reaction of those people, grown men crying,
Yeah, oh yeah.
and these players, these county, and here in Kerry, we'll talk about Kerry, from Jack O'Connor down, their life is on hold. They're working to get an All-Ireland medal. Some people might say it's just another medal. But the feeling,
Yeah.
when you get off the bus and above in Denny Street, at the Ash Memorial and go up on the stage as an All-Ireland winner, nobody, you don't realise what it is until you do it.
Fair enough.
And we're fortunate here, and this is not about winning another 10 All-Irelands, this is about our best players that are going, and if they do, you have to make sure the others behind them are equally as good as them,
John.
I think.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
Mark O'Connor,
Mick
John.
Gleeson, when he go on the summer trip to the US with the Kerry team in the 60s, early 70s when he was playing, because he was a teacher, he wasn't paid. The others were compensated for their full-time job salary. Because he was a teacher, he wasn't paid. I was up in the Fitzgerald Stadium one day when they brought in the no cash at the Styles.
yeah.
Quite a number of people, many elderly people, were just caught by surprise. They were used to bringing the cash. There was a man a bit ahead of me. I'm telling you now, this is a true story, and I can call witnesses. Somebody paid for him.
You witnessed the felony,
Somebody
yes.
put him on their card, okay? Because
Yeah.
he didn't have a credit card, and they were turning him away. He won All Irelands for Kerry. In the 1 year, he won county championship, county football championship, county hurling championship, captained Kerry to the Sam Maguire. He managed Kerry for 4 years. He got involved with his own club, absolutely transformed their fortunes. He went on, became a selector and manager. One of the current people involved in Kerry has often spoken about him as a mentor who set the standard for him. I was there at a Corny Vera game where they were turning Johnny Cullity away at the gate. So if these are the people telling
What club
me
is
that they
he?
have a problem with young fellas,
We're just going to say
no,
there.
that's an extreme example.
Just going to say there on Mark O'Connor.
Yeah.
Mark has won a AFL Premiership with Geelong back in 2022. Obviously, one of the few Irish players. I think it's only himself, Ty Kennelly, Zach Toohey, Conor McKenna. There's only a few of them that have won AFL Premierships. But just go back to January and Mark O'Connor winning his All-Ireland club with Dingle,
yeah.
and his reaction
Yeah.
to that. You're talking about Kobe will never experience a day like what he did. Mark will never experience a day like he did with his local Dingle friends and winning an All-Ireland in Croke Park.
And he
But
signed
at the end of the day, he's gone back to being a
He signed a
professional
contract.
athlete.
Yeah.
He has signed another new contract for 2 more years
Yes.
because that is his job.
Yeah, and that takes away. He's a romantic. talking about the glory and how great it is in front of your own people.
Don't
Your
exaggerate
man-
anyway, Mark.
Your man is Jimmy is telling us that
About felonies in America.
About felonies in America. So if we got some of
I
our
assumed
younger-
you at least to be an expert,
No,
Drake.
you have the solution to it, but we cannot advocate it. If we get our younger players to commit felonies, they won't be allowed into Australia,
Oh,
and
jeez.
therefore we have them in our own country.
I suspect
Is that what you're suggesting?
I suspect there's a bit of a solution in that Irish players, because they're not coming from a professional sport, are B rookies.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
And clubs can have a lot more of them than A rookies. And I
Correct.
suspect that it's in there that a change will happen.
Absolutely.
But it'll be
Sure.
pushed by the AFL.
Plus,
clubs.
like a Category B rookie contract is a small commitment from the Australian club at the time. It's basically
Yeah.
a 2-year
Yeah,
trial
yeah.
that might turn into a 3-year trial. And if you're really, really good, they will offer you a proper contract and take you off the
Yeah.
rookie list.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
So it's not-
I can see that
So-
being.
Just to sum up there, Jimmy, we will wish everybody who gets the opportunity to go to Australia or anywhere else to wish them all the best
Absolutely.
without any qualifications.
They have to make the right decision for
Right
themselves.
decision for themselves and their families, and why we will be sad and not disappointed, but sad that they're maybe not helping us win All Irelands. We would hope that in time, like Mark came back to his club, that they may come back after a couple of years. Some get homesick. They may come back because they get injured or something and need recuperation, and then resume, and they will help. If not the county, they will be better
Yeah.
players for their clubs. And that has happened with Padraig Lucy and happened with other lads as well. So we wish everybody well. Interesting discussion, not controversial in any way. And Jimmy, your contribution was valuable and priceless.
My biggest regret tonight
Yes.
Turning up.
is giving my real name.
Yes. Now we move on to football, lads. We had games the weekend, and we had a lot of games the weekend. Now I'm going to have a quick look back on the senior, although we've no senior coming this weekend, but we'll just do a quick resume. And I will start where Jimmy was, because Jimmy was in Temple. No, you were well received there.
Absolutely.
But having said that, for a long period of time, it looked like Temple No were going to win that game, and then they moved to the bench and they bring on their old timers. Well, not the old timers. Stephen O'Brien isn't that old. Paul is a bit older than him, and they contribute 5 points and they win the game. Discuss in less than 100 words.
Straight up, as you say, hospitality fantastic, weather fantastic, football absolutely beat the band. I loved every minute of it.
It's a good atmosphere there.
Fantastic.
Because they are
Fantastic.
rivals.
And it's one of those things, right, they're rivals, but they're the best of friends rivals.
Yeah.
There's
They're hurling
an
plastic
awful
bottles
lot
at
of
each other,
banter
no.
and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Wit, humour,
Yeah.
no,
No badness.
there's no edge to it. We all know there are some clubs and they actually don't like each other.
Yeah.
Kenmare and Temple no like each other fine. They're more or less having the
playing
crack,
county
to be
champions
honest with
together.
you. It's like we've all been there in Irish pubs. Like you stir the pot just to see what happens, and you know there's absolutely no matter. It was like that. It was good crack. Like
Who played well?
I have to say, I thought both Crowleys, Brian Crowley, he scored 1-1, but he was involved in an awful lot more than that. My own man of the match would have been Gavin Crowley.
Playing really well, yeah.
Remember, he also, I won't say he was picking up Sean O'Shea. I'll go to an earlier word. In a sense, he was doing a bit of tagging. He was the
The
one
Australian
scooping
tagging.
up the loose one. There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Not in
Back to the
technique, he
AFL.
was marking.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought
Do you want to
Gavin,
discuss the AFL with me?
I thought Gavin Crowley was excellent, but I thought in particular Temple No just looked sharper. Do you know what I mean?
Temple No.
Oh yeah. Oh, for most of that game, Temple No.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, it's Spa, Temple No or Gaeltacht being relegated.
It's going to be ferocious battles.
I'm not sure can it be Temple No. Pat Spillane Jr. Always a good footballer. Jeez, you know, we like to think, as you say, Kerry is the pinnacle. You know, he'd bring a lot up to Sligo football. Christ, lads, he brought a lot of style back down with him, like.
Yeah.
He's
I was going to
really-
ask you about him because he played really well against Austin Stacks in the
I was
previous game
impressed.
that
Oh,
they
yeah, you
that
did
they
that one,
lost.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was impressed. Jesus, he caught a ball over his head around the 45th minute. I mean,
Passed it to his father.
there were two of them around him, and he was kind of going up with two hands. And I was thinking, Pat, God love you, you're a bit overconfident there. You'd actually be better to try and break it and see what happens. And next thing, sure, I don't know. It was like he was jumping on the air. Do you know, he jumped, and it was almost like he suddenly rose again, got the two hands behind it. Super catch. Do you know, it's just one moment to skill, but moments like that will stand out for you.
And why
Great
did
football.
why did Timpano lose? Did they get tired?
I think they started to tire. I think there were 5 points clear.
10 to go.
We'd say 12 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Get a bit
It's an awful thing to say, and it could be a case of Jimmy adding 2 and 2 and getting 17. I wasn't great at school either, like.
Yeah.
But I do think they kind of took the foot off the pedal a bit.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of right, lads. We're now 5 points clear. We're in a different phase of the
protect
game.
the lead.
Shut
Did they
it,
sit
shut
back?
it, shut it down a bit.
Did they sit back?
They didn't go hiding, but they didn't go hunting with the same intensity.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, and I mean, for anyone who wasn't there,
Yeah.
even on Clubber, it was more dramatic in real life than it's even on Clubber. And
Oh,
Clubber-
please don't say
Clubber
that.
was very
till we
good.
lose our jobs.
I know, but I'm just saying. Paul O'Connor came on. Paul and Stephen came on within a minute of each other, and I'll be truthful, and the two of them know me well enough not to take any kind of offence. I thought it's a desperation move.
Yeah.
It's a throw of the dice. You've got Paul
Free
O'Connor.
transport.
He's got incredible skill. He might not, and I'm guessing just based on age, but he might not have the full hour of acceleration in him. But you throw him on when you're desperately looking for something, because he's a player who can give you something. Christ, he gave a lot more than something.
He was outstanding.
Absolutely stunning. Stunning. Just every time there was a bit of play, how they got to deal with this? Oh, I had to give it to Paul. Why is he passing it over? Oh, there is a man there. It was unreal.
Tom Murnane
5
got
points. 5 points
the 2
himself.
goals, did he?
Sorry, 5 points between Stephen and Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Murnane got the 2 goals. First one, was Aidan. I can't
Okay.
remember who actually had the shot. It was good pressure on the kick out.
Yeah.
Kenmare weren't scoring very well. Sean O'Shea. I mean, for me, Sean O'Shea and Paul Gainey have been the players of at least the last 2 county championships. They're absolutely.
Yeah.
Sean O'Shea did not look himself to me.
Still not fit, you'd
And,
say.
and was off with a couple of kicks. Not a mile off, but wasn't the power in the game that I've seen him be in virtually every other game. I would suspect he's 90% of the Sean O'Shea
Yeah.
he can be.
To conclude, do you think that Kenmare Shamrocks are good enough to reach the semi-finals? That obviously we'll preview it next week, but they'll be playing Miltown Castlemaine, isn't it? Yeah.
They won't get away with that performance again.
No. Okay.
They kind of
And
pulled the surprise card.
Yeah. You were at the Crokes game,
I
weren't
was,
you? Yeah.
I was.
So Crokes, that was Rathmore. It was a good game, but a strange game, wasn't it? There was a lot of play, lateral. I think the Crokes at one stage had the ball for about 3 minutes, etc., etc. And I think they were deserving winners. I don't think Rathmore played up to the level that they can. What did you think?
Yeah, well, I've been given 3 Crokes games, so I'm a closet Crokes fan now at the moment. But, no, I've seen all
That's
their
funny 'cause
games,
they hate you.
and I do think if you give the Crokes space and time, they will murder you. I think Spa felt it in the first game, for a certain extent. Dingle definitely felt in the first 20 minutes down Dingle.
Yes.
And I think Rathmore decided we're not going to give them that. Now, the first half, the last day, there was a bit of a breeze for Crokes. Rathmore set up very well, but Crokes kicked 3 2-pointers, which was kind of the difference
It was.
at half time.
Yeah.
Second half, then, Rathmore did the same, but the Crokes just adapted their game a small bit. Like you said, it was a bit like the U shape. They filled the corners and the wings and passed it around and tried to find the gaps. It wasn't the greatest game in the world,
No.
but the Crokes found a way to win the game.
They did, yeah.
Now, I would say Rathmore played very well in it.
Yeah.
Huge loss to Rathmore is Shane Ryan. Not in
Yes.
goal, because they have
Yeah.
a fine goalie now, William Casey.
Yeah.
Centre forward or full forward.
Yeah.
He would have been the difference for Rathmore the last day. He'd have definitely kicked a couple of points. He'd have posed a different threat to Crokes. But watching the Crokes now, I think they're in good shape. I think they can play different ways.
Yeah.
Lesser known guys playing very well for him.
Yes.
You know, Michal Burns now was man the match the last day.
Yeah.
Mark O'Shea the second day, and the first day, the name is who was man the match. The second day was, or the first day against Spa. 3 different men the
Charlie
match.
Keating.
Charlie
Charlie,
Keating.
yeah.
absolutely.
So you're looking there at Kerry Panless playing well for him.
Yeah.
So
Evan Looney was outstanding.
Outstanding, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
no.
How was Cathal Ryan for Rathmore?
Colin Ryan played very well. Looked very fit actually. I
Yeah.
haven't seen him look that fit in a long, long time.
He definitely looks like a player that's going to push for inclusion in the Kerry squad at the start of next year.
Keane McMahon is the leading scorer in the club championship at the moment, my stats tell me.
And going under the radar.
And going under the radar, you didn't give him man the match in any of the weeks.
Well, you picked the man of the match one of the weeks, Mark. By the way.
Oh, yes.
But no, Keane tries and fast ball in, like every corner forward. Give him the ball fast. He's very deceptive. He can jink. He can kick his 2 pointers like he did the last day. He got 2 goals another day against Dingle. Keane playing very, very well. Was a Kerry minor and Kerry 20, as far as I know. So
Yeah,
he
yeah.
will progress on, and definitely Crokes have found another cute corner forward.
Right, so Dingle, you were at Dingle and
Spa.
Tell us about that.
Ah.
That was
Absolutely, absolutely brilliant game of football. One of the best I've seen so far in the whole championship. Like, there was a lot on the line going into the game, so you would have forgiven either team for maybe being a bit cautious in their approach, because nobody wants to finish bottom of the table
Absolutely.
and go into the relegation playoffs. But it wasn't a game like that at all. The weather was perfect. Spa was in great condition. Dingle came with as strong a squad as they possibly could, and from start to finish, it was just superb. Dingle kind of led at half time by 3 points. There was a mistake on a short kick out, and Dingle scored a goal where Tom Sullivan just beat Shea O'Mara to it and had a tap in goal. But Shea O'Mara more than made it up to Spa afterwards. He stopped at least 3 balls. At least 3 balls that were going over the bar in the second half. Spa played superb football, led by Dan O'Donoghue and Dara Moynihan and Evan Cronin. The 3 of them really were exceptional.
How was Dara?
Throughout-
Great to see Dara.
Dara is flying at the moment, playing really well, got a goal, took a brilliant finish. But Dan O'Donoghue is the real heart and soul of that
Absolutely.
Spa team at the moment. He's arguably back to the form that got him on the Kerry team at the start of 2022. People forget he was the most unluckiest player that season, because he was nailed on cornerback after those first 3 or 4 league matches. Got a bad injury, missed it. Graham O'Sullivan came in, the rest is history. Kerry won the All-Ireland, Dan wasn't there. Could have been him in that number 2 jersey that year. He's playing really well now. When it came down to it, in the very end, Spa went a point ahead. Lovely free from Joey McCarthy. Time was nearly up. Dingle now were under the cosh. Big time. And then the class of Dylan Gainey just stepped up to the plate. I know he hadn't been at his best probably since the All-Ireland quarter-final against Tyrone, but he really, really stood up on Sunday. 7 points from play. He got the equaliser, and then he kicked the 2-pointer, which won the game for Dingle. Spa had one last chance. They had to try and throw it in around the house, go for a goal. It was fisted over the bar. Dingle will be absolutely delighted. They're in the best.
6-week break.
They're in the best position possible of any of the teams if you're looking at the Bishop Moynihan. Forget about the senior club. They can't win it. They can't be relegated. But 6 weeks to fine-tune their preparations. They got a full game into Barrydan. They got 20 minutes into Conor Gainey. They got 10 minutes into Matthew
And a
Flaherty.
full match again for Paul.
And a full match again for Paul. That's 3 in a row, full matches. Flying. They can go
He
into
played the All-Ireland.
they can go into the long grass Dingle and prepare behind the shadows, no prying eyes. When they come out at the start of October, be very afraid.
Be very afraid. John, I was talking to someone and they were telling me Gael were heading to Ungaeltocht. They had to win by 4. 3 would get them a tie, and then to depend on scores, 4 and all this carry on. But anyway, they were heading back, and on the cars obviously they had, and they were following it. And at one stage, Dingle were behind, as you know, and then later in the piece, Temple No were 5 points clear. So they were thinking to themselves, hang on a second, unless we win this, we're going to end up in a playoff with Dingle and Kinnair Shamrocks.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Talk about it. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really like they were thinking that, like they were, like, you know.
And that would have been the nightmare of all nightmares.
That'd be a total nightmare after they're thrown away the game against Minturn, in my opinion, thrown it away. But anyway, they got back and they played in Gaeltacht, and they got a go. Jack Barry got injured again. Now you're talking about clubs and inter-county and injuries, etc. And we didn't get onto it today. We'll get to it another day again. But like Diarmid, this is the second year now, but particularly this year, Diarmid O'Connor got injured the week before Kerry and missed the All-Ireland, and now he's missing for his club. And like last year, he was able to play for his club, and he got into the final. They were beaten by the Crokes after. They beat Dingle along the way, and they beat Gratmore along the way, and they beat Stacks. And on that Friday night, we were at that. They had some scouts. I think Na Gael are going under the radar now. Last Sunday, Stefan had a massive game at midfield, particularly in the second half. Completely dominated, fielded the ball, kicked a point, laid on a goal for Liam Cooper. Now it is alleged, Liam Cooper, who's the Gooch's nephew, obviously Vince's son, that when he got the ball, he beat the keeper, but because it wasn't the angle he wanted to, he went around the keeper a second time and put it into the corner. But that would be typical Gooch, that would be typical Cooper. So he got that goal, which was actually clincher, put him 4 or 5 points clear. But I would maintain, John, you've seen them, they have a very good defence. Indo O'Connor is outstanding. Owen Doody, their keeper O'Leary, playing very well. They also have, of course,
Damien Burke is back.
Damien Burke is back. And then you have Fergal Barry, and then Andrew Barry. When you see Fergal Barry and Andrew Barry picked at midfield, you know, one of them is 5'9", the other one is 5'10". And Jack Barry is the 6-foot+ man. He's on the side, and he went off after 20. Rory Hennepin came on, Tom's son, and he got the goal just before half time. That really gave him. And in the second half, the likes of Dan Goggin and these guys were really able to take it forward. Now, so they went from nervousness in the car and wondering, oh my God, where are we going? Where are we get? Kinnair will be beaten if
now they're in the semi-final after getting the bye.
Into straight to the semi-final. It's not like winning the lotto, John.
And they're without Diarmid and without Oisin Mansell.
Yes, and Jack.
Yeah, and Jack. Like going down to Gallerus, you would say it was advantage Gaeltacht, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
you predicted Gaeltacht.
But it's
when you gave
typical.
no chance.
This is like we saw last year. They went from game to game in that championship last year with Diarmid O'Connor carrying one hand, and they got to the final. Playing some outstanding football.
Yes.
But the guys you mentioned there, but I think up front, young Cooper, he is the difference. Because he is scoring for them. They were creating a lot of chances. And defensively great set up around the middle, they'd get enough of ball, but it was to punish it above.
Jimmy, stay quite a minute.
And with the likes of Dan Goggin now and Cooper inside, like he will score, and that is the difference. That's 5 or 6 points in a game is a crucial, and he has the eye for a goal as well.
And they're Jack Sheehan and exactly. Those guys come on, James O'Connor, James even the Barrys came on and scored the
Barrys are playing. They're so consistent. Andrew, like he's
Andrew is one of the most consistent players in Kerry, lads. Club players.
The sign of a very good player is time on the ball, I think, always.
Yeah.
And when Andrew Barry gets it, and there's players around, he seems to have plenty of time to make up his mind.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is as well? On the contrary, and it's the way that Jimmy has mentioned the performance of Temple No, and I mentioned the Spa display on Sunday. It's a very worrying result for Gaeltacht.
Yeah.
Because on their home patch in Gallerus, after winning their opening match, they only scored 9 points. They lost. They finished bottom of the group. Now they're going into a relegation playoff, against Temple No, who you said were absolutely flying, and knowing that
Would
if
you
they
believe Jimmy?
knowing that if they don't win against Temple No, they're playing Spa, who to me on Sunday don't look like a team who are going to be relegated.
Oh,
So-
don't say that.
And I think
Don't
Aidan
do that.
Welch went off with an injury the
Yes,
last day.
yeah,
Huge loss.
massive loss.
Massive loss.
Yeah. So basically, would you give they're in the semi-finals now? We'll be talking about next week. They're in there. Obviously, it's a bye. Not to be written off, I'd say.
No doubt about it. Not to be written
Don
off.
Rooney, he goes around with a notebook, and he's loads of things written in a notebook. Because I was supposed to get that job, and I said that, look, I leave it to Don. It would be a fright to go in there.
Wouldn't they look
They
at you?
wa-
Huh?
Well,
But don't be any good at this, Mark, would you?
no, Don was going to take this. No, but what would have happened was they wanted a father-like figure and an inspirational figure in the dressing room. That's why they asked me. What do you think, Jimmy?
I want to make the point with Miguel when you were talking about Liam Cooper.
Speak up there. No,
We
you're not
we
listening
made
to
the
you.
point several times on this podcast last year and the year before.
Yeah.
Miguel had great footballers. Their top scorer was Diarmuid O'Connor,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
that was killing them.
Yeah.
You know, so
Darren Devine might have ran
get
close,
those
but I
couple
hear
of
you.
points.
Yeah.
When it comes to Gaeltacht, you think about it. You go back over the last couple of years when Gaeltacht are in trouble, when they're really in trouble. They can pull it out.
Call up Bugly,
They're
two
backs to the
pointers.
wall, hanging there, stay alive team, big men, the 2-pointers, like you say, Cahill with those 2-pointers. I look at the 3 teams going down. No, obviously, I'm Spawn. I'm not going to pretend I'm not. I do feel we were unlucky in the group draw really in who we got,
Yeah,
and we've actually played very well, but we've only one chance. Temple Nolan on Gaeltacht. Honest to God, lads, it can be any team out of the 3.
Yeah.
But
Can be,
I'll
yeah.
make the point, from a neutral perspective, is this not exactly what you want?
Yeah.
You know? That's...
Spa going down, is it?
Well, listen, we might die with our boots on, but we won't die alone.
Right.
Cowboy
So-
reference for those who wonder.
All right. Intermediate championship, lads. The Kerry Petroleum Intermediate Championship. What a last 8 we've got, John O'Dowd. Where were you? You were in Beaufort, weren't you?
Oh, myself and John were in Beaufort on Saturday
John,
evening.
come in.
In Strand Road.
And
Yeah,
Strand
in
Road.
Strand
as well.
Road, yeah.
Strand Road. So I'll get you Beaufort and I'll get John Strand Road because John likes Strand Road.
Beaufort, it was very similar to their first match against Glenflesk. They were absolutely brilliant. They killed the game off early. It was done and dusted by half time. Cairns Rallies had no chance. I think they had a bit of a hangover for the middle game against Castle Island Desmonds because they just got the news of Sean O'Brien and the Crusade. So it obviously put a bit of dampener on the spirits within the squad, but they came out rejuvenated against Cairns Rallies at the weekend. It was always going to be a tough game for Cairns Rallies. They don't really have the squad depth right now to be challenging, even at intermediate level. And Beaufort, Kieran Kennedy and Liam Carey, if there are 2 more consistent players in the intermediate championship over the first 3 matches, I've yet to see them. Maybe Owen Clifford for Lown Rangers is up there as well, and there's obviously 1 or 2 players for other teams. But Kieran Kennedy has 5 goals and 10 points, all from play in 3 matches. Carey has 14 points, all from play. Their handprints are over everything that Beaufort are doing. They're in really good form, but now, for Beaufort and for all the teams, but especially Beaufort, it'll all come down to the knockout stages. What can they produce when the pressure is on, starting this weekend at home to, as Enda will tell us, a very, very dangerous John Mitchell's team. That's going to be the real test of Beaufort.
Inda, tell us how good or how bad John Mitchell's were against Kilcummin.
Yeah, we were up there last weekend, myself. So some of us climbed the ladder, others didn't, but we weren't there. But no, all jokes aside, no, I was very
well grounded.
I hadn't seen Mitchell's play for a while with divisions and stuff like that. I was very, very impressed with him. Like the 3 White brothers, obviously, one of them is injured now.
Yeah,
Paddy
Paddy,
went
that
off.
could be.
But I thought
huge.
they were very organised. I thought they were very intense.
Yeah.
Like, you know, John Mitchell's of old always had that little bit of aggression.
Yeah.
They had a lot of aggression the last day. They were very intense. forward line moved very, very well. Very impressed with Keane Holden, centre forward.
And the full forward as well.
Darren
Cullen,
Kinane,
he's
yeah.
excellent,
But
yeah.
Keane was excellent. He
Yeah.
kind of came into the pockets, directed the play. They've two
James
big
Duggan,
midfielders
yeah.
in Bowler and Shane O'Connor.
Yeah.
And if I was asking Beaufort people, I'd be saying, lads, be very careful of these fellas, because if they get a sniff at all, they'll take it. They were very unlucky above in Kilcummin the last day.
Brendan Keeley's point.
Brendan Keeley's point,
Good
yeah.
pointer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and in fairness, I know we're going to Kilcummin soon. It was a very, very good match. And I think both teams will get a lot out of that game, even though Mitchell's lost. I think they get a lot of encouragement, and I don't think they'll fear Beaufort.
They're the two biggest stories out of the Intermediate Championship so far. John Mitchell's and
Ballymacalligan,
coming
yeah,
up
yeah,
from
yeah.
Junior Premier. All the rest of the teams, you'd nearly expect them
you
to
would,
be
yeah.
there because they've been perennial challengers over the last 4 or 5 seasons or whatever. But
think
Mitchell's and
going
Ballymac have been a breath of fresh
I
air.
agree with you. Going back to Beaufort, Mort, we saw it the last night. Sean Coffey in goals. His
Yes.
kick-outs were exceptional. Fionn Kennedy out the wing. He's a real talent.
Only turned 18 2
Only
weeks ago.
turned 18, but the way he varied the short and the long kick-out, and one ball in the second half went in, he pulled it from over the crossbar and he stood motionless for I don't know how long, and he sold to dummy, and he's the most laid-back keeper I've ever seen. But his presence
Yeah, massive.
and being back in goals is a huge boost to Beaufort.
Yeah.
Because
He wasn't there last year.
No, he starts everything.
Yeah.
And Fionn Kennedy, but I thought their forwards, Inda was saying about the Mitchell's forwards, I thought the Beaufort forwards, Jack O'Connor was the only forward that didn't score. Liam Carey, I haven't seen him running as freely in a long time.
Yeah.
You know, Hallisey outside.
Hallisey with the freeze
and,
as well.
And Kieran Kennedy was outstanding. You know, he's kicking and his work rate. They were really, really impressive. And they ran their bench, no injuries.
And they have a vastly experienced manager now as well.
And Mike Breen at centre back was superb.
Yeah.
He controlled the game in the defence.
Yeah, so very promising from them. Keeley, Brendan Keeley, we spoke about it, but Paul O'Shea wasn't playing and he should be back the weekend. He'll be huge for them, won't he?
Yeah, I think they need Paul back.
Yeah.
Just looking at their full forward line, look very sharp. Mikey Casey, the returning Kevin McCarthy, who's outstanding,
Yeah.
and Philip Leary. But I do think that if Paul was there, they might put him into the half forward line, or it might
Yeah,
free
to
somebody
bridge
up.
that gap.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. And I think Kilcummin played very well the last day against a very good Mitchell's team. Defensively, they are very strong. Dara Callan, centre back. The other Dara
Darren
behind
Stack,
them, young
yeah,
Stack,
yeah.
very good.
Good, yeah.
They're very tenacious and they're very hard to beat at home because they have a great vocal support, they have a great
Yeah.
crowd.
And then Keeley's kickouts, Brendan's
Brendan,
kickouts.
yeah, and I mean Brendan's free the last day there was unbelievable. Like he was 55 metres out, and he just kicked it like it was a 20-metre free.
What has Kevin McCarthy brought back, Enda?
What they did now the first half, the last day, is obviously Mitchell's learned a bit. They tied it up in the second half, but they kicked it into space. Kevin brought the bit of strength, the bit of cuteness, brought other fellas into it.
Yeah.
Knew when to kick his own score as well. Like I mean, he's
a
an
shimmy and a
inter-county
dummy
player
as well.
and a very experienced one at that. And they've Mikey Casey there who transferred in. Very cute forward as well. Do you know, you'd know he was trained by the Crokes. He was able to.
I think if I remember back to 2017, I think it was, Kerry won the National League final with a victory over Dublin, and Jack Barry was marking Brian Fenton that day and did a great job. But Kevin was starting on that Kerry team that day.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. No, he's very good. His moves, I thought, and he's not selfish either. He gave the ball to Philip O'Leary for the goal, do you
That's
remember,
right,
who
that's
came in
right.
the corner, and great vision and speed and pace. If you give them the ball first, it's very hard. In the second half, they tend to crowd him out, and a lot of ball wasn't going into the forward line to the inside line. So Mitchell's kind of decided to do the Mayo thing, and 2 or 3 of them came around him and didn't allow them. They did the same with Mikey Casey, which led to the free out, which they took too quickly, didn't mind it. And Dara Stack got it back to Kieran Murphy, who
You were there the week before,
He
John,
came
for
on against
Kilcummin and
Fireys.
Fireys.
He came on against Fireys. They were finding it difficult to get possession, but his movement above, and he was available. He was the one man that was available for the kick, for the pass, and he, like you said, he brought other guys into it, able to mix it as well. He's able to win with the challenge, you know, and he's a good scorer, so he's a huge plus for them.
Now, the team who are, along with Beaufort, I suppose, most fancied were our Fossa, and Fossa, which I've said correctly for once. Fossa were too good for Ballymacalligan. Ballymacalligan played very well, to be fair to them. Although they went well behind, they kept going. 10 minutes into the second half, they were 119 to 7 points down. That's 15 points, isn't it? 15 points down with 20 minutes to go. So the game was effectively over. But they kept it and they got it back to 6. Now, a few things that stood out to me was Paddy Clifford is absolutely crucial in leadership and in positioning players. Ted O'Gorman got man of the match. He was excellent. But anytime Ted strayed out of where he should be, Paddy reminded him, Ted, stay in your position. That kind of work. He kicked a 2-pointer in the second half and he ran straight through, which was unbelievable. Now, David was well marked or tagged in Jimmy's word, tagged by
I took it off John, but no, not a word to John, like.
Now, he was involved in the goal, although I reckon it was in the square, but it doesn't matter. He was involved in the goal. He got inside him, and from the thing, he hand passed it across. But I think the guy was waiting inside to put it in the back of the back of the net. But he only got 2 points from play. He got 2 massive 2-point frees in the second half. We pushed him clear.
But that's trademark David on a day where Fossa are comfortable and he doesn't need to turn on the style. He'd prefer other players to be getting the limelight on a day like that.
Think about the amount of times that Kerry got to the All-Ireland final and they look back and, God, you know, I mean, Kerry beat Cork fairly handily there in the Munster final. David Clifford didn't do an awful lot, did he? Every single time.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he just hasn't cut loose yet.
You do remember the Guinea-Gulla game? The Guinea-Gulla did very well in the first half.
Absolutely.
And then Clifford came out around the 40 and got
because his team needed him.
And got 4 2-points.
I actually said it to Fossum and we were talking down below in Glenby, because I won't lie to you, I have great respect for Glenby, but they know themselves that wasn't a competitive match, and that was a danger for Fossa. Glenby are a great club, they're fine people, but they did not, for the first 2 games, they were toothless.
Yeah.
And they know I'm only telling the truth. I'm not saying it to hurt them in any way.
Coach and forward through their defence.
They
brought back Dan Russell and he made all the difference.
I think it was 3-10 to 3 points at half time.
If you're not up to the intermediate championship, you're going to be done. That's it. If you're going to be found out.
If you're playing games like that, it's actually going to blunt your own edge. It's doing you no favours. I said to a Fossa man down there, that first half against Guinea-Guilla, that's the best thing that could happen to you, and that's what you need more.
The 2-pointer before half time for Guinea-Guilla, like, they ran off the field. They were on top of their game, and like you said.
But getting back to the Fossa game, Ballymac, they're really, like, if you look even at their defence, like Owen Giles inside in the back, Dallin O'Shea is a good full back, and then Dylan Dunn in the half back line, very good, and Ty Brick got one of the goals. He was up front at that stage. He's the number 6. But the real man, they're missing Ado, they're missing Aidan Green, definitely.
And is Martin McKivergan out for this weekend?
Yeah, I was talking to his dad in the car.
They're 2 massive losses if they're unavailable.
Martin is gone. He had surgery on a shoulder injury, which the dad said he had himself. He was plagued through his career with shoulder injuries, and it seems to be hereditary. The son has it now.
But BallymacGilligan will go to Kilcommon on Saturday.
Was unreal again.
Donald Daly.
Donald Daly. Donald, like, he got one but Donald's ability to feel the ball for the size of him now, you know, he's not a tall lad, and his game sense, etc. It was just that Fossa had the points on the board, and they were able to drop back, and the likes of Paddy was back covering as well. But there's Fossa, what some people call the domestiques, other than the Clifford brothers, etc. Owen Talbot and these guys, they can play.
Yeah,
and you know who's very good? Young Jack Hallisey.
I was just going to say,
he was marking Jack Joy and he kept Jack Joy. I don't think Jack Joy scored from play.
The biggest boost for Fossa this year is some of the young players
Yeah.
that are coming through the system.
Doyle came in.
Fionn
He got a
Doyle,
point.
Jack Hallisey,
Jack-
Ted
Mark
O'Gorman's getting better, Rian Collins getting better, Mark Kennelly,
Mark Kennelly's
big tall man in the
turning
middle of
into
the
a
field.
serious footballer.
That's the biggest boost
Yeah,
for
he was
Fossa.
very good because they've Dan Ryan in as well, and Keane O'Shea, Matt Rainey.
Rainey,
but
a lot of
those
big men.
fitness- He,
Yeah.
yeah, he came on.
And
but
you know,
there's-
sometimes when you have two good players as Paddy and David are in the team, the rest of the team could say, or should they win it for us?
Yeah.
But they're actually doing the opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
actually up in their own
Yeah.
game as well. Do you know?
Beaufort and Kensal rallies before I go to the most horrible result of all, the one that hurt me most.
Lone Rangers and Legion, you mean?
Yes, Beaufort and Kensal rallies.
We did that one.
Poor.
Yeah,
We do it.
we did Beaufort and
Yeah,
Rahaleys.
we did,
Yeah. Rahaleys, they struggled, John, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they started well, John, didn't they?
Yeah.
Tomas Kennedy and, you know, they were Conor
Barry
Hayes
John
and-
Keane started
yeah,
all right.
And O'Connor, they were moving
Yeah.
well. But after that, but when Beaufort settled, there was only one team in
Yeah.
it.
Right, so what about Direen, Killarney Legion 210, Lone Rangers 322? But that doesn't tell the whole story. Was it level at half time?
No, there was only 3 points in it at half time. Legion actually went ahead when Rob Lean got a goal. Lone Rangers came back, they got a goal of their own, and they led by 3 points at half time, 1-8 to 1-5. But the game was well and truly up for grabs at that stage. Legion would have went into the dressing room knowing that Listowel Emmets were hammering St Mary's down in Carsiveen. So they knew coming out for the second half that only a win would give them any opportunity of advancing to the knockout stages. But in the second half, they were ripped asunder.
ripped, yeah.
Lone Rangers were just on a different level. It was a very disappointing home performance in front of their own fans, you'd have to say, in the second half by Killarney Legion. They just weren't able for it. Lone Rangers dominated. Adam O'Neill, superb.
He score.
Finished with 7 points, I think it was, but he ran them ragged, like just
Owen Clifford was excellent.
Owen Clifford.
He
Yeah.
got two
Owen
assists,
Clifford,
I
Owen
think, today.
Clifford is county
He
standard.
was
Yeah.
superb all through.
And has been for 3 years.
And
now.
Garrod Hassett and Cleary, their work, but the movement up front was incredible. And they tore.
Giroud
They
is a
opened,
kind of in the pocket, and he makes
yeah,
scores.
they opened
on
up the
score.
Legion defence and the pace they went at them at. But their kick passing was unbelievable.
Yeah.
wasn't it?
David Mangan at centre back
David
as
Mangan,
well. Big influence. He's finally free from injury for one season because he's a very good defender, but being plagued by
The
injuries.
likes of
and
Keane Gamble now, Jonathan Line, they tried right to the very end, and James O'Donoghue
James
came on.
kicked the point,
They
yeah.
did
They
all
just-
they could, which was just one of those days.
What about my cousins, Denny and Dennis Sheehan? How did they play?
it was a difficult enough afternoon for an awful lot of the Legion players because one of the Sheehans was trying to mark Adam O'Neill, which was a very difficult task because they gave a lot of space. There was a lot of space in front of the full back line. They were a little bit exposed, to be fair, because there were times it was one-on-one ball going in, and Adam O'Neill was too pacey, you know.
But I think the week
In
before,
general.
Mort was the one out in Listowel
Yes,
for the Legion.
you said it at the time.
I said it. You know, they didn't match the physicality of Listowel Limits. Conditions weren't great, and they didn't match it. And you know, Listowel were hurting from the Lone Rangers game. It's all about momentum, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And be remiss not to ask, disappointing is it from it? Obviously disappointing when they don't make the quarterfinals. But what's the mood in the club? Is it just you're going through a phase, or what's
Yeah,
it?
I suppose, look, we came down from senior in 21, and since then we've got the semi-finals every year. This is probably the first year now that we've a shock of
Great,
knocking
last
out
year
the
wasn't
group. Yeah,
it? They beat
knocking
you,
out the group. But I looked through the team, and I've been in the dressing room with them fellas as well, and there's great servants in there as well. And maybe we're at a stage where we maybe have fellas of one age and we fellas of another age, and we just have to maybe just bide our time, maybe sit into intermediate for a couple of years and rebuild. You know, because we have a good minor team and a good under 16 team
I was
coming
gonna
Do
through.
you know
say,
what
I
we have
think-
to say?
I
Jimmy
think
mentioned it in a very good article in the Caravan
Yes.
this week about the volunteerism. It was a super article, it should be read.
Yeah.
We entered the ground last week, and the pride in the Legion, the facilities they have, fantastic. But at half time, under 10s,
Yeah.
I don't know how many were there, but Diarmuid O'Donoghue was there with them. A man that played at the highest level. When you have guys like that involved, I saw Sean Keane going in and many more, I shouldn't be mentioning names, but you know, Peter O'Leary. When all these guys are there and put the shoulder to the wheel, there's no fear of the Legion going forward.
Absolutely.
And the facilities are second to none. Credit.
Absolutely.
now.
Well
they
said.
they were
Very well
complimented
said.
their facilities at the county board meeting on Tuesday night by Derry Murphy for some strange reason. Not strange reason that the facilities, but I don't know how it was during the debate about
Maybe sidestepping other stuff, was
about
it?
Kerry injury. Yes, I think it was. I think it was a diversionary tactic. But yeah, but. How much of the brown envelope that Indy gave you to say that?
No, but you have to recognise, and we've been around at a lot of
Absolutely.
games, all of us
No,
don't
it's-
know.
yeah.
But the facilities in this county, they're unbelievable. Some are better than others, obviously.
Like I
Right,
say,
lads,
it
from
goes,
me-
just to say, it goes back to something I said earlier, and a team I would always go back to community organisation, not a corporation.
Yeah,
That's
that'll be on your headstone.
Not tomorrow now, not anytime soon.
When you pass on.
I'd say it'll be a case of burn it, lads, and scatter it to the winds.
The intermediate quarterfinals, we have, I'm going to start reverse with Sunday. We have Fossa versus Listowel Emmets. Is this one where everybody expects Fossa to win, but there's a danger there? The 4 home teams are well fancied. They're odds on in most situations by the bookmakers, but there may be a surprise. Could there be a surprise in Fossa?
There could be a surprise in any of the games, because I think last year, I don't know, was it our great producer JC was saying that there might only have been two home wins and 2 away wins, and the 2 home wins were very lucky. We could easily have got 4 away wins. If you remember, Fossa got an away win, and was it Listowel Emmets nearly took Kilcummin out away from home, and obviously Guineguilla nearly went and won in Gallerus.
Oh, God.
So
I got drenched wet today. Was that today I got wet?
Listowel Emmets will go into this game, as John says, with momentum. They have 2 wins in a row. They'll relish going into Fossa's backyard. They have Jojo Grimes chomping at the bit in the middle of the field. They have backs who we don't know what their matchups are going to be, but they have guys, the likes of Eddie Healy and Eddie Brown and Paul Walsh and Jack McGilligan and Micheál Kennedy. They have these guys who could match up with the Clifford brothers. Now, it's not easy. It's going to be the most difficult task. They'll obviously need help, whoever gets the individual job. Listowel will maybe feel, John, can they get enough scores down the other end of the field? Like Darragh Lynch.
Midfield is another one.
Darragh Lynch and Sam Tarrant playing really well at the moment, kicking some great long-range scores, but you'd imagine Fossa will be saying, and Jerome Stack knows every Listowel Emmets player closely, being a Listowel Emmets club man at the end of the day, you know. So he'll be well aware of what they can produce. Banana skin definitely, but I still expect Fossa to win.
To me, in less than 50 words.
Listowel have as much heart and more than most. They will absolutely bring a battle, and they're going to lose by about 7.
Lose by about 7 after bringing it back. You
I
built
just
up
had-
to Crescendo there. I was certain.
I'm sorry, but take out the Clifford brothers,
Yeah.
and I still think the rest of Fossa are good enough and organised well enough and very fit.
So you don't want the
It'd
Clifford
be a
brothers being
3-point
at
game. No, I'm saying put in the Clifford brothers.
Oh, put them in. All right.
Now,
I'll ring
look
Jerome
at your
Stack.
calculation again.
Yeah.
I have no dog in the fight. But if I was inside the bookmakers, I'd be going, look, you know,
Yeah.
I
Fossa is buying money, so
it's one of these, you make a fool of yourself when you're wrong.
we'll remind
But
you
that's
next week
that's how,
if you make a fool of yourself. Saturday.
yeah, you would not.
Oh, sorry. Who do you think is going to win it?
Well, Fossa, I think he'll win. I
Fossa,
think, yeah.
John.
Fossa
that's
favourites, Martin. I said this during the week as well. But
Yeah.
if there's to be a shock, this could be the one. Because if Listowel bring the same intensity.
Where are you from?
No, but I
Not
mean,
Kerry.
I went in to see Legion Listowel,
Yeah.
and being straight and honest, I thought Legion would win the game
Yeah.
from what we'd seen. But the momentum they brought from Lone Rangers, but some of the tackling was ferocious. I don't know what you're there in.
Yeah.
It was like some of it was borderline, but
Yeah.
it was. John made a point. The Achilles heel could be up front. Brian Sweeney is playing very well, possession-wise. Aaron Kennelly, he's going well. They'll need more from those guys, but Fossa should win. But don't rule out a shock.
And what the
Still,
player
that
Jojo
for-
Grimes is as well.
Outstanding.
Absolutely
Yeah.
stunning
Outstanding.
player.
Yeah.
But the key thing for me is they had Fossa had that first half against Guinea-Gwilla. If they didn't, I'd be saying you're absolutely spot on. I'd be a lot more cautious myself. That first half against Guinea-Gwilla, I think,
The way they responded.
yeah, I think that's in them. I'd be very afraid because the two games since, with the greatest of respect, were not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
You know,
Yeah.
you weren't revving the engine to try and get the last few yards out of
They
it.
were back in Glimba because they need to get out of there quick. So they were revving the engine. There was a vintage rally or something back there. Do you remember that? Right, let's get on to the next one on my list here is Saturday. My favourite venue, Kilcummin. Kilcummin versus Ballymac. I leave that over to our Kilcummin expert, Inda.
Yeah, Kilcummin played very well against Mitchells, got over by the skin of their teeth, but showed enough. And I think if Paul O'Shea is back, I think they'll take Ballymac, but not without a battle from Ballymac. I mean, Ballymac have the winning mentality this year after winning the All-Ireland. They showed in their intermediate games they're willing to fight. And of course, in young Daly there and Jack Joy, I think they're the top scoring duo in the competition. So they will give them everything they can, but I think Kilcummin at home, and provided Paul O'Shea is back and they're able to load the bullets into that full forward line, I think Kilcummin will just about shade it.
John,
I'll go Ballymac.
you're going Ballymac.
I think even with
You'll go for an outsider. You hope that you'll be right and we'll be praised doing next
even
week.
but even McKibben out, I think, like you said, the winning mentality, they're playing with no pressure this year because they had to win and get out of the junior premier. They did that. And a lot of people you talk to, well, Ballymac won the juniors, you know, there's not much expected, but they're going along under the radar.
Yeah.
The game against Fossa, I wouldn't read too much into it because both teams are qualified.
Yeah.
Does home advantage mean a lot? Maybe
Not
not.
really.
Maybe not.
They're rested. Martin
I think home
McGilligan will be a
advantage
huge
goes.
loss. It'll be a huge loss.
It'll be a huge
What
loss.
do you think, Jimmy? Kilcummin now we're talking about.
I'll have to leave in a minute. The first thing I'll say is I would pay money anywhere to watch Kevin O'Gorman and Aidan Breen go up together. I know Aidan isn't there and it's an awful shame. That's two old school classy midfielders. I would love to see it. So,
Yeah.
all that said, again, you look at the comparative strengths. I just think too much has to fall Ballymac's way, and I have to say, I do think home venue, especially with the kind of support that Kilcummin bring, and they bring great support, it does make a difference. I would have to be looking for Kilcummin in this
Yeah,
one.
I think all the pressure's on Kilcummin. There's no pressure on Ballymac going into this game, only that the pressure that they put on themselves to deliver. Kilcummin got to the semi-final last year and will feel that they could and maybe should have beaten Fossa in the semi-final, and they would have gone into the matchup with Ungailtucht and been confident. But I do think the losses of Brian and McKivergan are going to be maybe too much for Ballymac, Kilcummin to win.
Yeah, we'll move on with just two to go, and then we'll pause for a minute. Beaufort and John Mitchell's is on Sunday 1 o'clock. Where I go, John Kennedy, Beaufort, you've seen him?
Beaufort. I haven't seen Mitchell's.
Yeah.
They've really improved. Like Inda said, they've brought it to another level. I think Beaufort are one of the favourites, and I think they'll justify that at home. I think they'll win.
In the
Yeah, Beaufort have got a bit of a rebooting under Peter Keane, and even though Mitchells have improved a lot this year, I think Beaufort's know-how in the competition should get them over. Although Beaufort people will tell you they can't play quarterfinals at home,
Yeah.
so if they're in trouble there, John Mitchells will swoop on that. But I go for Beaufort.
who would you go for, Jimmy?
I think that's the
You're a
one.
Peter Keane fan.
I think that's the one that's very tight to call. Beaufort are outstanding. I'd give Beaufort a nod, but I think
You'd be
that
afraid of Mitchell's. Could be a shock.
absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's a possibility. Who would you
Tough
go
game, high quality.
I agree with Enda. Like Beaufort are a bit worried about their quarter-final record on their home patch. That's something that they have to put an end to this Sunday. I think John Mitchell's are going to be a force to be reckoned with over the next 5 to 10 years. I do think this might be a year too soon for them. And if Paddy White is potentially out, that would be a real travesty for him as well, because the way he's playing. I think Beaufort should end their home hoodoo this week.
And the final one in the intermediate grade, the big one, and I'll be involved in the big one as always on Sunday. Lone Rangers, Lone Rangers versus Glenflesk is on in Culloden at 4 o'clock. I think the draws have been made after, haven't they, John?
Yeah, in Killarglen, yeah.
In Culloden. Lone Rangers really, are they threatening to be a team that could be there
Yeah.
in the final? They're playing well.
Under new management, you know, Dennis Cleary in there and his James Sheehan and Shannon writing as coach. I think they're moving very well. Their second half performance last week, you know, this is not a bad Legion team, and they're
high scoring.
You know, they're high scoring. They're being led, as we said, by Owen Clifford, then Mangan at centre back, and I think Sealy in the middle of the field. They're very balanced, but up front, they're real dangerous. From and young Adam O'Neill is
214.
he's the player of the championship so far, isn't he?
He's 214 scored already
Yeah, outstanding.
in 3 games.
And you just feel someone like Stephen Gannon and Gerard Hassett, there's going to be a game where they totally erupt as well, and they might take some of the spotlight off Adam O'Neill, maybe starting this weekend.
But what I like about him, Mort, is it happened in the Listowel game with young O'Neill. He missed a few early on, dropped one into the goalie, didn't drop the head. The last day Gannon had a chance of a goal, probably should have scored it. Did he drop the head? He didn't. They kept going. Very positive, and that's coming from the line.
So we're kind of all saying Lone Rangers, are we?
If I was to go with a banana skin for an away victory, this would be the one I would go for. And it might be funny to say it because Glenflesk just epitomise inconsistency. Bad performance, good performance, bad performance. But if they turn up and give a good performance, Glenflesk could take Lone Rangers. I'll go with Lone Rangers just because they're more reliable at the moment, but that would be my surprise. If there was an away win, I would say Glenflesk.
In a strange way, I actually think Glenflesk have too many good players. Getting the mix right. For me, the talent is there, the effort is there, the heart is there, the balance in the team just has not clicked yet.
Is
And
Wayne Cullen
obviously,
just getting used to it,
if you
maybe?
don't click now, I'll be honest with you, there's always this thing of, it comes down to the manager. All of those lads are playing together long enough themselves. There comes a point where I think there's collective responsibility in the dressing room. It doesn't all come down to the manager, no. I don't think Wayne has the mix right either. I'm not absolving managers of any responsibility. But you see where... So for me, if Glenflesk get it right, they absolutely can win this competition outright. If they don't, I mean, for me,
Glenflesk are to win the competition.
Glenflesk
Outright.
could win the competition outright. If they get that balance right, you look at the Roaches, Patrick, Darcy, Carl Cronin,
Luke Crowley,
Stu O'Donoghue's Chris
John Keller is playing great
Donoghue
stuff.
back.
The raw material is there,
It's, you know, and I haven't even mentioned John Crowley or Luke Crowley. Do you know what I mean? That the players are there. Now, Mark Kelleher is a loss. No question, Mark Kelleher in goal. As you say, like Sean Coffey with Beaufort, keeper can be a foundation of a lot.
Who are you going for?
On this
Who are you
occasion,
going for?
it's going to sound cowardly after all that big long speech. I'm going for Lone Rangers.
Stop! Glenflesk could win it. I'm going for Lone Rangers. Do you realise that to be? Jimmy, on
I'm
that
saying they could.
bombshell, we're going to have to take a short break, and we'll be back shortly with the Premier Junior, and we might take a quick look at the Junior as well if we get a chance. So we'll be back shortly after these ads, which are very important. Welcome back. Lost my voice. A lot of people would pay big money for that to happen. John, Keel, talk about them. You were at their game last week.
Yeah, it was an interesting game against Waterville in Kiel on Saturday afternoon. Now, Kiel probably had their work done in the group beforehand. They had their 4 points collected. It was just about making sure that they sealed top spot, and they started off really well. They had 3 goals in the first half. Looked like the game was over at half time. Now, they were without some of their big players. You know, Keith Evans was tagged, but he didn't play. Liam Evans was tagged, but he only came on near the end. There was a couple of other first choice players. Thomas Ladden didn't play. So, but what I found was great was Waterville's spirit in the second half away from home. Like, Waterville don't have a big pick of players at the moment, but they really thundered into the game. They had a young lad, Owen Murphy, at full forward.
Big tall lad,
Big tall lad. He caused ferocious havoc for the Kiel full back line. Every time a high ball came in, he was setting up scores, he was scoring himself, and Waterville went ahead near the end. It was crazy, like no one could really believe what was happening. But Kiel, they had emptied the bench a bit, and in the end, the 2 substitutes, Cian Flynn got 2 points, and Liam Evans came on to get the insurance point. I think Kiel will be happy enough. They weren't near their best. They didn't risk any players that were carrying an injury. They were looking at bigger fish to fry, while Waterville, they avoided the relegation playoffs by virtue of the late goal against St. Pat's Blennerville. They were very competitive the last day. We'll give them encouragement going into the South Kerry Championship.
Drummond Pierces, so Kiel are playing Drummond Pierces in the quarter final. John Kennedy, Drummond Pierces, they were very unlucky against Churchill. It was 2 late goals that cost them. And
2 wins since.
And you know they've been well supported in the betting. Somebody knows something about them, but then Neil O'Shea is back, I think, isn't he?
Chris Farley's back.
Chris Farley's back, and obviously Graham is
Sullivan
playing very well.
Donal Sullivan, another
Sullivan
Kerry
as well.
senior
Another
panelist.
senior panelist. So, like, they're not a team to be written off by any means. So they will face Kiel in Kiel on Saturday evening, and they won't fear them, I'd say, John.
No, it's a huge ask up to Kiel. They're one of the favourites, but you know the South Kerry men, they're tough campaigners down there. You know they've not big numbers. They have weathered the storm. Look, as you say, Niall O'Shea back. The O'Sullivan's leading by example. They're going to be tough. They'll put it up to them. Are they good enough to win it? I don't think they are. I think Kiel have. John mentioned there about the guys that were missing. There's a few injuries in the Kiel camp. If the injuries are right, Kiel will win. If they're not, it'll bring it a lot closer.
Yeah, and Inde, would you review on it, Kiel and Drummond?
Well, I've been privy, believe it or not, to a couple of Drummond training sessions. I won't say where they're training, but I have been there at the same time. And they have big numbers of training.
Coming home late?
No, going home early maybe.
Yes.
Big numbers of training. And actually they're training, as I see it from a distance, actually training very well and very strong and very hard. So I wouldn't rule out Drummond, as you say, for the players you've named there.
Yeah.
But they do look like, if you were looking for a training session to have energy, you see it in their training. So they obviously are taking it onto the pitch when they play. And I wouldn't rule them out against Kiel.
Right, so that's kind of Kiel to win, but wouldn't be surprised if Drummond ran them very close.
Two teams and 2 clubs that are big advocates of the Irish language as well. Yeah. Don't be surprised when you get your programme in Kiel on Saturday evening if both lineups are Oscailga.
All right. Do you get a grant for that?
Don't know.
Right. So Listra and St. Sinnans. St. Sinnans must be really disappointed. Drawing with Castle Gregory, Cian O'Grady got the last minute equaliser, and that prevented him from getting home advantage.
For me, this is potentially the match of the weekend. Yeah. That it's potentially even better than any of the intermediate quarterfinals, because this is 2 absolute, genuine contenders for the ultimate honours having to meet each other. And you're dead right, Mort. St. Sinnans have to be absolutely fuming with themselves for what happened last weekend. At home, in Mount Cole, 10 points up at half-time against the Castle Gregory team missing Thomas O'Donnell, and just like we wish Sean O'Brien really well in his recovery, we have to do the same for Thomas, because it looks like, I don't think it's been fully confirmed yet, but that's the fear at this moment in time, that he's going to be ruled out for a lengthy period with a cruciate. But for St. Senan's then to let that slip, draw the match, lose top spot, lose home advantage, and then get drawn away to Listroy. It's a big, big blow. It's the exact opposite of the Nagale situation that you spoke about in the senior championship. And now St. Senan's are right up against it, against the Listroy team under John Evans, who are going really well.
And of course, St. Senan's a shark, Killian Trent as well.
I wonder, will he play this weekend?
Yeah, with the broken arm.
Broken finger, I think.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he lines out this week.
Yeah, you'd know Listroy isn't too far from Killarney, so you'd know a lot of the lads. And John Evans is reported or alleged to one time bought a suit off you. So what's the story with Listroy and St. Senan's?
Well, the one thing you know about John Evans is once he gets his teeth into a team and gets them going, that they are very hard to beat. And I think if we look at this year as a year two, they got promoted in the county league, and they're coming into this championship now, because I don't think you can approach a championship by fluting around in the county league and then turning it on.
Yeah.
And I think John took that approach with them. Yeah. I think I heard before some of the players thought they'd win the Premier Junior in the first year, but John said no, you have to build it. And you look at the county league now, he's bringing them through. And if you actually look at their forward line, it's actually very young and exciting as well too.
Yeah.
And I think Listroy, much like Churchill, are coming here with young players with no fear, that are tearing into games. And of course you have the likes of Rory Murphy inside in the middle of it.
And
there
Ronan
as well.
Buckley's
Ronan
inspirational
Buckley,
this year,
who's kind of the father of the team, without saying he's old or anything, but he's
Yeah.
kind of the spiritual leader. So I think it's a fascinating game, but I think Listroy with home advantage.
Yeah.
I think their time is now.
Yeah. Do you know what John Evans' greatest claim to fame is? He went to the same school as I did in Killarney, and
You obviously
he was
stayed
2
there a
years
bit
behind
longer.
me. But no, he was a very good footballer at that age. He was huge, and he was the best footballer in that era in our school.
Very good referee in his day, actually.
Was he?
We played Aston Sachs one time in a minor match in Connolly Park,
And he
and he was the referee. No, a very good referee, to be fair.
No,
It's from a St. Senan's perspective, this is a test that makes or breaks your season. Because if St. Senan's, after the mess up they made last week, if they go to Listroy and knock out one of the big challengers, they will feel that they're unstoppable
and they have unfinished business after
in this
last year's
competition.
final
And
in this competition.
two penalty defeats back to back are the only reason St. Senan's are out of the championship the last 2 years. So,
John, what do you think? You were close enough on the Kerry team, so you'd be for the McCourt.
I'd agree with what was said. Last weekend could come back to haunt them.
Yeah.
You know, going out to Listroy is a huge ask, and this is a team that we had said earlier on. They're one of the teams that can win this championship. Conor Kennelly back, but Killian, like Inda said, if Killian Trent isn't playing, huge loss.
Yeah.
I think the John Evans factor and the balanced squad that Listroy have, and they're going well, I give them the advantage. I think they'll win this one.
Very good. Castle Gregory and Onascall. John, I think you're down there, the local West Kerry derby there. They'll probably beat the West Kerry team with a few Lisboa lads thrown in the tree then if there is a West Kerry team this year, because you have no Gaeltacht, obviously, and no Dingle. So that's an interesting one, because you're supposed to have, unless they change the rule, one intermediate team in your divisional team to be in the county championship. So you'd have to have one divisional, one intermediate team, and Onascall aren't intermediate, and neither are Castle Gregory and neither are Lisboa. So that creates another issue. So
I would expect when it comes to the county championship, whether that rule is still there or maybe whether it is wavered in this situation or whatever, I would expect there to be a West Kerry team in the county championship, and it will probably just involve those 3 teams that you've mentioned there. But I do think they will be present. This game.
Thank you very much, Patrick O'Sullivan.
That's an opinion, not fact. This game is really, really fascinating. It's hard to call. I'm actually looking forward to going down and seeing Castle Gregory and Onascall. To do what Castle Gregory did in the second half last week without Thomas O'Donnell, Cian O'Grady, 1-8 in the second half. Like,
Wow.
he's just a machine. Like, you cannot give away frees inside 50 metres or he's going to put them away. And he can score from play. He's a lot of support from Maurice O'Connell and Paddy Fitzgerald. Paddy Fitzgerald, a very, very good footballer, was part of the Kerry under-20 panel this year but dislocated his shoulder, so couldn't play any part. He was another big loss, playing really, really well. Then you've Vaughan Scall, who I saw against Ardfert, and they were absolutely superb. They've got really, really dangerous forwards with Carl Ferreter, Killian Falvey, James Crean, Jason Hickson is still there, Colin Moriarty, a full back, really, really good player. This is like, it's a local derby. Anything can happen, toss of a coin on the result.
Yeah, 232.
Castle Gregory are hard to beat at home though.
Hard to beat at home. So would you give...
I'd give Castle Gregory the nod. It's a difficult place to play.
A man who was often in Castle Gregory in there, what would you say?
Lovely chips there on the chipper, actually. I was
that?
there one time, yeah.
Yeah, very
I
good.
forget the name of it, but the chips were the ace altogether. Obviously, Thomas O'Donnell is going to be a huge loss to Castle Gregory. Do you know, huge loss, because he's kind of one of their go-to men alongside Cian O'Grady. On the Scall, very much, you know, just the good thing about the championships, maybe not too many people were talking about on the Scall at the start, yet here they are now.
Yeah.
Killian Falvey, of course, was man the match in the All-Ireland minor final the year he played. Has Glenflesh blood in him, in case you didn't know. Wow. Killian Falvey has Peggy Horn would be his, I think I'm standing correct here, I think Peggy Horn is his aunt.
Okay.
So Evan Horn's his
And
first
you're dead
cousin.
right. Lestry and Ardfert would have been the two favourites to come out of that group.
Yeah. So you know, it's for on the Scall, it's probably bonus territory, which sometimes you can play with a bit of a freedom. They'll enjoy the asset of a West Kerry derby. I'd nearly go for on the Scall in this just for the wreck of it. I think that the loss of Thomas O'Donnell could be big for Castle Gregory.
What do you think, John?
I'd agree with Inda. I think the loss of Thomas O'Donnell is huge. In spite of what they did last week against Sinnans, I think no pressure on the Scall. A derby, and it takes a form of its own, local derbies. I'd give the nod to the Scall in this one.
Yeah, actually, I would agree with you for once. I think Down Scall could win that one. The one I'm looking forward to getting very wet at is Churchill versus Doyle, Saturday evening, 5:30 in Churchill. I hope there aren't any scaffold or ladders or anything there, but hopefully there won't, because it's very high up, looking down on the pitch, and you have the ocean and the winds and rains blowing in and you, so it's a very pleasant spot.
I think the bookies have Churchill heavy favourites here, but I wouldn't necessarily go along with that. I think this will be a lot closer contest than maybe the bookies anticipate anyway, because Churchill have been a bit lucky in some of their games. They topped their group, but it was only 2 late goals against Drummond and 2 late goals in their last game. Was it at the weekend? Was it against Brosna? Yeah,
Brosna,
2 late goals against Brosna at the weekend that gave them those victories. So that's obviously shown great spirit, that they never give up the ghost and they keep fighting all the way to the finish. But it doesn't show that they're so far ahead of the opposition that they can take Duar for granted. And I'm sure Churchill won't, because any team that has Cormac Dillon, who's capable of scoring a 2-5 or a 1-6 or a 1-7 on any particular day, and John will tell you Duar are tough nut to crack, some good young players, Ronan Sheridan, Dunica Maher, there's good lads coming through the system there, so that's a tricky game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, Churchill are a club. I can remember underage, 7 or 8 years ago, Churchill used to play Legion at the 12 and 14 level, and I was very impressed with them. And obviously that is starting to come true. You see a lot of their players are represented on the St. Brendan's under 21 team.
Yeah.
And much like Lestry, they've had a very good county league campaign.
Yeah.
So they're coming in.
And they're a good centre population, just like
Yeah,
Lestry.
they're coming in with kind of confidence and stuff like that, you know. So I nearly, with home advantage, I go with Churchill.
Hugh Lenihan and young Cian McKenna as well. There's some good young players there in that Churchill team. Joe is a very massive player.
When he got injured, he would be in Kerry contention. John Kennedy.
I've seen Duar playing a couple of times. I'll tell you, under John Halpin, they're transformed really. They're really tough nut to crack. They're well balanced. They have a very good defence led by Dunica Maher, young Sheridan as well, and you know the Connors. They're always tough championship campaigners. And Cormac Dillon, he's the scoring machine for them. Do you know? I give them the nod. I think Dual win this one.
You haven't tipped up a non-North Kerry team yet. Everyone the North Kerry team is going to win.
You have to be parochial.
Right, the Kerry Junior, just one word on it. My Van versus Cordell, that's on on Saturday evening.
That could be the best game of the weekend.
Yeah, it probably could
Very
be.
difficult to call. I think
Is
my
it?
van beat them in the group stages last year in my van. So Cord will have to try and get a bit of revenge
They
there.
were very disappointing against Beale in the knockout game. Ultimately, he did it last year in Ballymac. Very disappointed with. But now they were missing
Philip O'Connor.
Philip O'Connor,
Yeah, Phillips back. Killian Denny will have to produce a big
Sean O'G,
performance.
yeah.
John knows how tough my van are to beat at
My man are
home.
tough, yeah. A lot of players, a lot of good young players.
Yes.
They'll be tough to
Will you
beat
go
at
for
home.
my van then.
I'm going for Cordal. Yeah.
See, he's unpredictable when you least
I think
expect
they're
it.
battle hardened Cordal.
Did you take alcohol when we
this
took
is
the
a young,
break?
this is a young my van team, to be fair, and I think in championship that could have.
And it's coming to the now or never stage for Cordal.
For Cordal, yeah.
Yeah. You're not in to manage them, or you're not doing anything work in the
No,
background.
no, I'm not.
That's
No,
okay.
no.
And who do you think?
Players of the quality now, Killian Denny can decide games like these, do you
Yeah.
know? So that's why I'd be siding with Cordal and Philip O'Connor, of course, who's like an absolute greyhound. I'd say his GPS
Lovely
would
fella as well, yeah.
GPS would
absolutely
blow
brilliant.
any fella's GPS out of the water.
John, I'll show you going. Tarbert hate my van, of course, and my van hate Tarbert. So you'll go quarter.
So I'll have to go, just because the two boys are going Cordal, I'll have to go with my van. So
Well, you're not going to be allowed in at home. Now, also, we have on Saturday, Beale, I suppose I should call them, and Finoog.
Bale are big favourites there. Finoog are building, young team.
Finoog are
They're getting
building,
better under
Eamon Fitzmaurice, you don't like
Eamon is involved, and Reggie Galvin. They're big improvement from Finoog, but I don't think they're ready to take out a team like Bale.
yeah.
Rob Stack, they've unfinished business. They feel that they could have beat Tarbert in last year's final. They lost by a point. They're one of the big favourites to go on now and win it this year. They won't slip up against Finoog.
Would you think the same?
Yeah,
Not that you'd know anything about them.
I do know that Finu were a very good Division 1-2 team back in the day. They've dropped a bit, and obviously now they've decided they must build it back up. But it probably Bale are a bit ahead of the curve for them.
Yeah.
Two North Kerry teams, so you can't go wrong this time. That's the story.
I'd be going for Bale, I think. Yeah, they're just a bit ahead
Yeah.
of Finoog. Finoog are making strides under Eamon Fitzmaurice. They've settled the wagons in Finoog. They have a lot of young fellas, and they went down and they're on the way back up.
Yeah.
But Bale for me.
Knocknagoshel in the Spole, another Sigmund in the Spole, quite a good side. Knocknagoshel, of course, Winter North.
This is up there. This is up there with the My Van Cordal as really.
Knocknagoshel lost the final, obviously, to Listowel Limits, but after replay. But what two great days we had in North Kerry late in the year watching them play.
Knocknagoshel are definitely targeted in this competition as well. They've been probably up with Bale. They've been the most impressive team so far in the group stages, putting up big scores. Edmund Walsh is back. All the Walshes are playing. They have some very good young players coming up through the system in Knocknagoshel. Conor Cahill, there's good forwards there. The Bells, the McGilligans, Lispole. They gave Tarbert an awful rattle in the quarter-final last year in Tarbert. Tarbert very lucky to get over the line against them by 3 points. They're really impressed. The O'Canedas, Marco Manin is playing really well again.
Yeah.
But Knocknagoshel is a really hard home venue to try and get a victory from outside. I'll go for Knock to win.
Car park.
I'll go for Knock to win.
That's right. That's right.
And obviously, they were in dreamland last year, getting to North Kerry final, getting to bringing it to replay. It probably energised the club.
Yes.
And they've used that energy this year now.
Now
And
to
as you
get
said,
going.
they're targeting that competition. So
Shane O'Connell doing really well there. And John, you obviously played. You played with his dad, Jack?
Jack, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a big community spirit there in Knocknagoshel.
They got promoted. Did they win Division 5 or 6, one of those, didn't they?
I think
won
they-
five,
yeah.
yeah.
They did.
No, I think
So,
Knock will be very hard to beat.
hard to beat. Final one for tonight, folks, is Sneem Derrynane versus Kilgarvan. And I'll go to Inda because he's an expert in Kilgarvan. He's been down there with the Healy Rays counting sheep. And so let's see. Sneem Derrynane are very good. They've got some lovely players, and despite the fact that there'd be a population sort of lack of players, it'd be a small panel probably. They've been playing very well in the league, I've noticed, and they've done well in this championship as well. Do you think home advantage might swing it for them?
Well, do you know, what I think sometimes the true essence of Kerry football is South Kerry. They don't be looking at the O'Neills, they're looking up, they're kicking the ball all the time. And a lot of the South Kerry teams play that way. Sneem Derrynane seem to be adapting that mode this year as well too. Now Kilgarvan obviously have lost a few players and will be struggling at this maybe to keep up the
And they
steam
play the
during
hurling as well, of
That's
course.
right,
you
and
see.
they've dual commitments there, and you know, hot night with training and stuff.
And they were very lucky to get this. They got this. They were
on scoring difference.
On scoring difference, where they thought they were out, but they were beaten by 13 points or 11
Yeah, and
points. Or
if
something.
Scarta Glen had beaten Skellig Rangers by another point or two, Scarta Glen would have got through.
So Kilgarvan are really lucky to be there, but sometimes
Yeah.
You
that
can-
kind
you
of
can take it from
you
there
take
then,
it from
like,
there,
yeah,
and
yeah.
But I would be fancying Sneem Derrynane.
Keep an eye out for a player called Oisin Brian. He's
I've
playing
heard about
really,
him.
really well
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
moment for Sneem Derrynane, putting up big scores. Ian Galvin is another
Galvin,
well-experienced forward. I would expect Sneem Derrynane
There's
to
a
win.
McGillicuddy there as well. So, John,
I think
final one.
I think Sneem Derrynane as well. Kilgarvan have done well to get to this stage, I think, of the competition, to be fair to them. But Sneem Derrynane for me.
Lovely. So that's it, folks. We've gone through the senior. We look back. We went through the Kerry Petroleum Intermediate Championship. We went through the Kerry Petroleum Premier Junior, and we went through the Junior. So we've covered a lot of territory. And at the start, we obviously spoke about what happened to the county board. We spoke about Australia, and Jimmy Darcy ranted about
Everything.
Everything. So Jimmy,
Come
unfortunately,
busted.
Jimmy ranted about so much that he's no longer in the panel. He's self-combusted, and he's now in ashes somewhere. So we'll see what we can do to. It's a wet evening. I'd like to thank the patience, number one, of my panel, and that's John O'Dowd. Thank you very much. I had to carry you home, but sure, what are Inda, thanks.
No
It's
problem.
your first time on this panel, and probably your last. Not because we don't want you, but because you probably won't want to. Because on timekeeping we're a small bit slack, as John Kennedy knows, because he came through traffic and delayed us a half an hour. But thanks very much, John.
bother much.
In his absence, we'd like to thank Jimmy. And entertainment was entertaining was Jimmy this evening. Thank our producer and cameraman, that is JC O'Shea, John C. We're here in his premises. I would like to thank himself and his mother Joan for their hospitality towards us this evening. We'll be back, of course. These games are all the Intermediate and the Premier Junior are all live and exclusive on Club at the weekend, aren't they?
And two of the junior games. Those two big ones, My Van, Cordle and Knocknagoshel Lisbol.
Right, so John will be busy, man, and we'll all be kind of busy over the weekend covering all those games. So we'll come back next week and tell you what we thought, because it's then getting to semi-final stage and getting very serious. The draw is on again, John, remind us.
Sunday evening in JP O'Sullivan Park after the Lown Rangers versus Glen
that's
Flesk
about
match.
5:45, maybe.
Yeah, around that time.
Around 5:45,
Yeah.
because the game will be over probably at that stage. So that's it for our Kingdom Calls for this week. This is Mort Murphy signing off, and we'll talk to you again next week.